And as a creative artist, I have struggled within my society as to why we don't show appreciation for what is ours. The painting behind me is one by Leslie Lumet, and you can see an individual who goes into the detail of our life. Leslie's contemporaries in Ghana are selling paintings like this for 20,000 United States dollars. In Nigeria, people are paying 50,000, 100,000 United States dollars for works of art.
I think your earpiece affecting your voice. It's low.
You can't hear me? Okay, you know what? I'm going to hand over to you, Pierre, and let me call and see if we can adjust this.
It's much better. It's much better. You can go ahead.
Better now.
Okay. Yes, and so this has always been, part of the journey of torture. When will we reach the stage where we appreciate our artists? I'm sure if I throw the name of Caesar Harris out there, if I throw the name of Van Richards out there, many Liberians who are supposed to be, how do I call it, metropolitan or cosmopolitan, have no idea who these people are or were. And they were some of our great artists. So for me, I send my hats off to Leslie Lumet for keeping the torch burning in the world of our artists. Boys, most of you are, all of you are boys. So you'll be very interested in this trending issue of mine. I don't know how many of you keep up with Nigeria's social life or in generality and have heard of a character by the name of Charlie Boy. Charlie Boy, musician, entrepreneur, activist, mad, crazy artist like myself, is just released from the hospital having undergone a prostate operation. Yes, Mr. Pierre, and to all of you, this is a disease that affects Black men. We haven't found out the reasons why, but the same reason that Black people are the ones affected by sickle cell. So I'd like to put this motherly, sisterly advice to all of you, especially if you're over 40. Try and get a prostate exam every 6 months or annually, because it can come on you. People ignore it, and it's something that can be treated. No man has to die from prostate cancer if it's taken care of. So that's my trending. What else do I have here? Okay, they say if you don't know where you're coming from, you'll never know where you go. And for me, April, the month of April, is always a reflective month for me as an individual, and I'm sure many other people, because I was spiraled into madness, hit us in April. By the way, my birthday is the 15th, so I won't be celebrating because we've gone nowhere. But the month of April for Liberians should be a time for us to be reflecting where we are today and if we're going anywhere for tomorrow. April 14th, April 12th, April 22nd.
April 6th. I said April 6th.
April 6th. Well, that's your generation. That's your generation. April 6th to me was a date where warlords were all over the city fighting, right? And threw things into chaos. But for our April, it was unexpected, wild.
And it changed the course of the country history.
It changed the course of our history, which we thought would be better. Which we thought would be better, would make our country better. However, 2023, we say we are practicing a democracy, and you have an individual who stands in front of Liberians to tell them that if you have an opposing view, if you don't agree, that your human rights will be violated. I want to hear the human rights people on this. Your human rights is violated because they're saying, okay, you can't get a job with the government. And yes, government is not the only employer. But how is it that we've reached that stage? How did it even come out of his mouth? For it to drop on the ground, for us to be reporting it in this Liberia that so many people have died, we've shed blood, we've destroyed our infrastructure, what little we had. How? For me, I will not, to even comment on this little boy's crap. I'm 75 years old. I got a child who is older than Jefferson Koji and got more sense in his head. What is this in our country? The last time I missed out two things that I observed while I was in my motherland. I am all for development in Liberia, but I think people should stop playing games with the people of our country. While I was there, two companies were launched, initiated. One that worries me is something called the Global Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Company. They're going to be making medicines. We cannot even trust the health sector. We, all of us, we know that we can't even trust the health sector. You say you're coming to start producing medicine to give to our people, or maybe they got an exclusive right to export. I hope they're exporting. I hope they are exporting, and I hope
they're about to use Liberia as guinea pigs.
You know, and then the other joke. Some company is coming in to make mayonnaise. Mayonnaise, my people. We 5.2 million people. Only 200,000 got refrigerators. I didn't hear you, Pierre.
No, he's talking to somebody else.
Okay. Yes. 200,000 people in the whole country got refrigerator and constant light. And you are talking about bringing a mayonnaise company. Like my sister said, we're not even thinking of bringing in company to make copybooks, to make pencils, so our children and everybody else who wants to go to school can get an education. We're not thinking about those useful things. People are coming up with these schemes. because that's what they are, laundering money and all kinds of illegalities. You're stuck. You're stuck. Not all of us are stupid in that country. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Enemiata. Pia, if you're there, but Enemiata, you struck a very good point, and you, Jupo, and Jerry. You see, a lot of times our people forget about the history of our country and where we've come from, and how divided that country is. A lot of time we ignore the division and pretend like Liberians are a bunch of unified people. We're not. The level of anger we witnessed, the level of catastrophe we witnessed during the war, Liberians, all Liberians, not foreigner, Liberians against Liberian, tells you how much that country is divided. And then to make matters worse, we're divided on tribal lines, on religious lines. To make matters worse, this government has included the political line, which makes it even more of a division, to the point where your friends who are in government are afraid to even hang out with you before they lose their job. Those who have jobs are afraid to speak their mind before they lose their jobs. And then an idiot like Koji comes to a party headquarters and tells Liberia, and they should send a message to some of those folks who think that they're in opposition, but they're secretly supporting these guys. When the government, and then PI is here, when the government took over in 2018, there was a list that they published called the CDC Black List. My name was on that list, number 3 on that list. PI were on that list, and the intent of that list was that these are people that should never get jobs under a weird presidency. Now, the irony to that is most of the people on that list, including myself, were people who were educated by the very government.
That's right.
And so one of the things you're doing is that you're losing out on your talent, and Singapore is Singapore today, and how it managed to gravitate from a third world to a first world country, well, because of 3 key reasons. One, they built a merit system that those who got jobs and those who were placed in position to serve the public didn't get it because of the connection. They got it because of the capability and the ability and their skill set to deliver. That was the first thing. The second thing was pragmatism. The Singapore president, Lee Kuan Yew, thought that there was no silver bullet policy to solving government's problem. You got to take from every different, whether it's authoritarianism, democracy, or other socialist tendency, you have to borrow these concepts and add it to come up with something that will fit your country, to be country specific. And then the third thing which he talked about and which is missing totally in Liberia is the issue of honesty. How do you fight corruption in the absence of honesty? How many of our people have ethical values? How is ethics being taught in our schools? Many kids go to school nowadays, they don't even have that ethical value from whom? You send them to buy a soft drink, they run away with the change. Or they pretend like no change and for you to forget, and they take it. You go by in the street, somebody wants to rob you. Those, and before we saw how strong Liberia was on ethics growing up in the community, how families, community neighbors stressed on the issue of ethics. If you went outside and behaved a certain way, your neighbor, your man friend sees you, you're in trouble.
Forget it.
You're in trouble. So then you come to power, and you think that you can ostracize other people, and you expect them to sit quietly when their livelihood is being affected. They're not going to sit. They're not going to sit. Let me go to Pia. Pia.
Thank you. It's good for us to be here as usual, and I listened very keenly to Miata, particularly her last point. And I want to link that to my first talking point on a trending issue. So on Saturday, we're in Washington, D.C., and we've gone to attend the launch of the new book written by journalist Ronnie Sear, the unofficial.
Somebody's talking.
Yeah, sorry that you have to hear that, Miata. In this America, our apartments are small, our kids are here. It's difficult to sometimes get thoroughly infringe on their rights in a small space. So, yeah, so we went to see Ronnie's book launch. During the question and answer period, there was a question Ronnie answered that I want to link directly to what you just said. He was talking about his work and why he feels passionately about what he's doing. And he made this example linking us to what happened on April 12th. And he said, April 12th, the Togo government was overthrown. People were placed on the polls, they were killed. A lot of other people died that we don't talk about besides those who were placed on the polls. And then he said, interestingly, the government was said to have been overthrown for rampant corruption. And he said in his answer, he said, but it's sad to note that the country, even right now as we speak, with the current people in power, the country is more corrupt, 10 times more corrupt than the people we killed on the light pole for quote unquote rampant corruption. So he said, so for me, I owe this to the country. Because how can we overthrow a whole government, kill people? And the very things for which we say we killed those people has quadrupled. It means we killed them for nothing. And then he says something. He said when the government was overthrown, the national legislature, for example, was made almost entirely of American Liberians. And he said many people believe it was wrong, and some used it as a justification for the overthrow. Then he said, but today, I don't know whether somebody can help me to find one Congo person or American Liberian person at the Capitol building. So the point was, how come we brought a whole coup, killed people in 1980, but things we believe were wrong, and today, those things have worn long trousers if they were in short trousers. And that brings me to just everything you said. Liberia is just in trouble because these are history. It's on a history book. It's available. Some of you fools don't read them. The likes of the Jefferson Koji. We talk about the Congo people being in a minority and that they were enjoying the country. The majority was being ostracized and relegated to the margins of society. And a few people who perhaps do not even constitute the best of our people. They are on the list of the capacity we need to run our country. But they sit there and believe that government, they don't even understand that when you run a government, that government is called the government of the Republic of Liberia. It is not the government of the Unity Party or the government of the CDC. So it's the Liberian people's government. And the participation in the government should not be based on your party line. But yet this fool who doesn't understand anything, every time he gets to a microphone, he talks nothing but nonsense and say our job. And we'll win the election, no opposition should worry. The country not for CDC. The country is the Republic of Liberia. It is for the Liberian people. And every Liberian has the right to work in their own country. Let's even say immediately the king of power, they pass this stupid list around called rest list. Who are you to tell somebody that they're supposed to rest from working? And these are the same fools, the Jefferson Koji and all of those, they were beyond those stupid write-outs. And even having serving government for nearly 6 years, they've not grown, they've not developed any serious IQ, they're still stupid, they're still tolerant, they're still silly. And he's a fool who doesn't care about himself because this boy, everybody who dies in the country, Jefferson Koji name it inside. You would think that is a reason for him to conduct himself differently. But no, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. The big trouble he will find is right under your hand. We're waiting. He said he's in America to sue Verdia. And people who listening to me on this program can write it down and mark it in the book. Ever seen Koji sue Verdia? He don't come out of Liberia. Because Verdia too got plan for them. As he's suing Verdia, will be suing for something else. And he will not leave this country. He'll be held until whatever he'll be sued for will go through. So let him be as stupid as he is and keep doing what he thinks he's doing. He's talking about nobody should work. But maybe Stephen ain't know. But I know, maybe you not know, but Stephen should know. These fools are not working for government, they are getting money every month. Free money, they're not working for it. During the early time. Whatever the source of the money was, from somewhere, the Mamisi Kabal, the this, the that, every one of them, Carrasco, this. Those were people on Monday remuneration for working, zero. Why did the people in power do that at the time? Maybe to preserve the peace of the country. And besides that, that was just for those of them who did not have the space to be in government. But how many of the opposition people were not in government? In fact, the very beginning of the crisis between Ellen and the Unity Party was from the foundation of the government. Ellen constituted her cabinet. I'm not sure up to 7 cabinet members were from her party. She didn't do it with a negative intent. She was looking for the best of the brains. She wanted Antoinette Saye. Antoinette Saye didn't have to be in any party before she brought her. She wanted Dr. Chris Toll. She wanted the likes of Tiawan Gonglo to go and be Solicitor General. So she didn't care whether Tiawan was part of her party. She wanted Kofi Wu. She didn't care whether Kofi Wu was in party politics, but Kofi Wu had been outstanding as a progressive and a human rights lawyer. She wanted the likes of Olubanki King Akirele. They didn't have to be in her party. So she was looking for a conglomeration of competent people because that's what the country needed at the time. The Unity Party was responsible enough to give in because they wanted the best of the country, not these fools. Even though they don't have the capacity, they want a partisan-driven government. And they continue to cause trouble for our country. So we're at that boat launch. And Rwanda did a good piece of job. But at that boat launch, I was telling Stevie at the background that I realized that a lot of people appreciate what we do here. The number of persons who I don't know, but who just recognize the face, not recognizing me because I was press secretary, but recognizing me from the class reloader who came up to me. If I was telling Stevie why I'm pushing for Ronnie to sign my book, this guy just walked to me and he greeted me. I didn't know him. Then he opened a letter. He took off $40. He said, my contribution to the class, my contribution. I said, to what? For what? Then he just said, class reloader. And when I wanted to ask him, I see you, Baba, and my contribution. It tells you how motivated people are. This man went for a different program. He sees me on the line, going to have my autograph copy. And he just said, yes, something. You know, some of our followers, Glendale. I saw Glendale and everybody there, you know, at least they all show respect. They recognized me. We interacted, unapologetic. Another lady, I think that's just a social media name. I'm not sure that's her actual name. They all came forward. And at least they all would say, thank you for what you're doing for our country. And I'm saying this because I want all of you who are here. Nobody is paying you. You can't be sitting here with all your time talking like various kids. What you do is appreciated. People love what you do. People think you're doing a great deal of contribution to your country. And we just got to stand firm. Because when I look at this platform, and I'm Mano Stevie, Andrew Miata, if all the rest of the people that can come on me, Gary, DuPaul, Darlington, and the rest of the people, if they were not doing so, then maybe the show is dead. Because all the original people who put it together, everybody left. besides the two of you. That's how we dash people hope. People depend on us for things. We started, we raised their hope, and then along the way, for reasons we can't even explain, our backs are turned. You know, quickly. So let me just quickly also say that I'm hearing that the We Are government, their delegation to the Democracy Summit, formally endorsed gay rights. I don't know how they're going to wrap up with that in the Liberian society going towards election. With their endorsement.
Are you surprised, please?
With their endorsement of gay rights in a society where some people still fighting that the country was founded on Christian principles. I would like to say religious principles, because all the religion you have set principles that you just value certain things, and maybe because you honor some strong warning from the Americans and for other reasons you endorse gay rights. Stanton, I'm told a case is pushed from April down to June.
Oh Lord.
We're still watching, and I now take interest in that case because I think we got some people, another point in our country that we respect, they got issues.
Mm-hmm.
So Stanton says things, and people don't want to look at what he says, and the opinion you form should be based on what you think about the thing he said. But other people just jump and say, who is Stanton a criminal for him to tell somebody? So if Stanton, if two wanted to give Stanton 50,000, and the facts are there, what the fact that he has his own case, which is not guilty of, he's accused, he's indicted, he can go to court and be acquitted or found guilty. Anything can happen. Fortunately, in America, the legal system works. And some people now believe that you have no opinion on anything. I thought they themselves are injured. So it makes me to take interest in that case. And we all want to see how it ends. Because this is America, things work. Donald Trump just arrived in New York. That's what makes this country different from another country, including Liberia. He just landed in New York. And he will be arraigned in court tomorrow because he's been indicted.
Very good.
Because he's been indicted. Doesn't work in other countries, they don't care. When you're looking at level of stature, you're above the law. Things work here. So take time how you classify Stanton until his case is adjudicated. Trump is here. Since his indictment, other people believe it will call 5. The recent poll, CNN yet released a poll today, 60% of the American population agrees with the indictment. Contrary to what people think, it would have been a political tech win for him. That's what makes the country work. Respect for the rule of law. Until we learn some of these values and take it back home, where our president can just do things, nobody cares, they in government, they're forming their own companies, they can leave the country for 60 days, nothing happen. Constitutional day for things to happen, it doesn't happen, nobody question him. That's the problem we have. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Pierre.
Stephen,
yes,
Stephen, I just wanted to add a little bit to what John Limerick said about the recognition of being on the class Reloaded. Getting to Monrovia, I decided, in fact, my school friends, my Annie Walsh girls, they sent me a specific message. Miata, no go there, go open your mouth, they cost all man and do other business. We're not able can rescue you. I said, okay. So I went in on a low profile, did what I had to do, but there were certain places I had to go in the public. And Stephen, you won't believe it. I got on sunglasses, I got on these glasses. People haven't seen me for a year. And I'm walking in there, and a waiter or a waitress, they walk up to me. Good evening. How is the class Reloaded? They call my name. I just look at it and say, you better get away from here. It happened to me 3 times. Individual I didn't know. I thought, I'm incognito. The people are watching. And like I said, these were not the people who we share to, or my friends I share to. Mm-hmm. Waiters in the restaurants, or ordinary workers in the telephone companies, etc. They are watching and they are learning. So yes, we keep doing our big one. The
Yeah,
class.
and it's it's good because we may not
And,
know
and,
the
and,
level
and
that
Stephen, just before you respond to any matter, we'll say this thing. At least we got people who can testify. Our brother Trukon Augusto Freeman is a journalist in Liberia. I think he followed the show because as soon as I made a comment, he posted on Facebook. He said, "General Pia, there was in Koji, Sego Kalasco, the Maroma, Mercy Kabara, etc., were all placed on special remuneration by the EJS government. Beside the people who were in power. But today they are in power and they say nobody else will join a party must live. The country now for party. Liberian government job is not for citizens, it's for citizens.
Yeah.
This year, knowing the public, people saw it, people know how they were living. They were jobless, some of them, but earning salaries. In some cases, more than some people who were on the job.
That's right.
Just to keep them
That's
okay,
right.
quiet, preserve the peace. Today, everything they've done is now with the objective of promoting peace. The things they do, people want to respond to it, and that's still, but now we're going back to war or something ever since. Ever since. You kill people like you kill chicken auditors, ordinary people. Death is the order of the day. People steal in broad daylight with no fear. Somebody working for $3,000 in 5 years. You got duplexes all over the place, broad day bravery. And the country is still why it is. A different country. When they were even thinking about, we were talking about 10 billion people were going about it. Just that era of the in Senegal, I'm sure all of you follow.
I told you some months ago, it's time for us to put some polls on that redemption drive, but nobody won't listen to me. They say I'm radical. They say I'm radical. Exactly. Oh man, Richard Henry's had $27 in his account at Chase Manhattan Bank when we killed him.
Imagine, Stephen.
$27, and we killed him. And you've got a young girl like Findabondo.
And this guy in the middle who was
G.
to combat minister, how they call that guy? I'm told he had just stayed in government, I think 3 or 6 months. Sherman, right?
Sherman.
This man has been in government for less than a year, and you kill him, you say you rampant corrupt.
Can you imagine? And you have people like Finda them building estates, this person, that, I mean, come on. Nobody is jealous of them. But who are there to take advantage of the Liberian people? I just read something on one of the articles or something. Our president gets 20 million United States dollars a year in his office of the president, $20 million. The legislature gets 64 million United States dollars a year, almost $100 million. These crooks, these greedy bastards, take from the people until men and women with children got to put on blue jeans and t-shirts and go first and stand in the street to protest. Who are you? Who are you? You are giving power and you rip your own people off. Only thing most of the Congo people that are like not die. Only I will start crusade, so all of them will come back. You hear it. Wicked people, insensitive people. What money was George Weah making 10 years ago? What money did he have?
Ronnie revealed in our book, he was a poor man. He squandered the whole career. He got 10 million and he squandered all.
I saw it in the shoes he was wearing during the campaign in 2014. That's how I knew he was broke like myself. Then all of a sudden we give you 20 million a year for you to indulge in frivolous.
You could make that a whole career.
And you think it's yours? And you have your cadres and people disrespect, because that's also disrespect, they're disrespecting us now. That's also disrespect, they're disrespecting us. I don't need a job from CDC. I don't even want a job. But I want a space, an environment where I can be in my country, express these very opinions. You ain't like it, then that's it. That's all I want. I don't need your jobs. But when I see you're acting like you're fools and you ain't got sense, it is my right as a mother and a grandmother and a great grandmother to say, come, child, sit down. Let's tell you this thing because it look like you understand what's going on. That's all I want. I don't need their jobs. I need peace of my environment where I can go to sleep and I'm not afraid. Because all of us got fear. I went to my own country the other day. I spent 3 weeks. Every day I was locked up by 6 o'clock. Me, Miara Fambule. I was locked in the house by 6 o'clock. Everybody be careful. Don't go. Is that the Liberia we want? That's the Liberia you want to create? Just my stubbornness carried me. Because my family was against it. And I said, no, I will go. But come on, they can't be serious. And if the Liberian people are listening, and you all go to the polls, come October and put a Jefferson Koji then back in office, you're on your own. You're not ready. Thank you.
Exactly. And this will just lead us to that conversation about the protest today. Imagine parents, who many of whom have like maybe 2, 3, 4 kids, and you're renting, you got to pay transportation, you got to pay school fee, you got to eat every day, and then they're making $60. You're paying somebody $60. You're paying somebody $70. And the funny thing is, you have the Minister of Finance who just 5 years ago was struggling, in terms of poverty. It was GSL was struggling for income. I remember the Minister of Finance, when he joined us, he was complaining when the first salary and wanted us to increase the salary because it was small for him. And then I see Tuel standing before a group of protesting workers and say the president agreed to carry your money to 150 gross. When I look, you see, some of the disrespect it comes from the way Liberian people can allow these people to disrespect. What the hell you call 150? The president said will carry your money to 150 gross. Look, you think salary payment are goodwill from president? You think people money they work for every month that president can make that determination?
Can you imagine?
How dare you think that people working and we can go to one press conference and now, we'll carry your money to 150? One of the determinant of salary is the issue of the skill the person has, the level of experience they bring to the job, and then people take into consideration the living standard in the country. What is $150? Let's assume you're a family of 5. You pay rent maybe $30 for 1 bedroom house or $40 for 1 bedroom. You got to come to town every day. You, the children, you got to come to town, or maybe community school, you got to get them reset. You got to eat. They can say like, "But Father, I can cook cabbage." You got to eat every day. You buy a bag of rent for $20-something. You buy pepper oil every day. You got to give food money, maybe $5 maximum because of the inflation. Transportation soaring, gas prices going up. And then you're bragging about paying somebody $60, $70. It's a suicide mission they own. What's it? A suicide mission. And that's why they go to work every day. Not because they want to go perform. They go there to hustle. That they will see people who come there as clients and they will run, do their paperwork so that they too can get additional money for themselves. And then you complain that people corrupt, people not doing the work. It's because you're not being the value, there's no dignity of labor. There's no way you can pay somebody who has, and then the funny thing, the harmonization sought to harmonize government payroll across all line ministry and agency. That was the intent. But interestingly, an inspector at Transport Ministry makes $125. Similar inspector at Commerce Ministry makes $500. And both ministries are revenue generating ministry, right? Transport last budget year contributed $12.5 million to the budget. But yet and still, those who are responsible for collecting that much money is being paid 125 before tax. Now, that same category of people at the Ministry of Commerce, inspectors, they make $500. So what exactly did this harmonization harmonize? And that's the question. And then one of the protesters asked Minister Twe, asked Samuel Twe one very, 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 very interesting question. And everything they asked him was saying, small sense, yeah, sense inside. It's a very good question. The man asked him. The man said when the budget was 500 million, our salary was this much.
Mm-hmm.
The budget go to 850 million. How can our money coming down? You know, when it was 500, the money was going up. Every year, if that was $20, $25, they were adding to his pay. So his money kept going up. His money kept going up. When you took power, you increase the national budget to almost $1 billion, but the man's salary keeps coming down. You subject parents to sit on ground to protest for them to get them what is due them.
And is it any wonder our young girls, high school children, are becoming second providers in the home?
Yeah.
Is it any wonder they leave their schools, change their clothes, put the uniform in the book bag, and they go on to these offices to interact with these greedy bastards? That's the new name. I think my brother Jerry Rollins used to use.
And when I saw the lamb, one of the questions I asked was, so that these people are asking for 6 more years?
Yes.
To do what?
They can exploit and just run free. So they can just run rampage, Stephen. So they will just run rampage because they have no idea.
They give you 6 years. What they are doing. They give you 6 years. You made them poorer. You a few handful of y'all got rich overnight. Men like Koji, who could never work before his entire life, now owns property in the 19th Street suburb. Get property all across the country. People like Fina Bono building property all over Liberia, owning real estates. Somebody like George Weah, who was dead broke even after he lavished his soccer money on Sescapade and assorted liquor, was barely surviving on his senatorial money.
No,
and the reason, and Michael Law said it in his interview, that the main reason why we are ran for the Senate seat was for income.
Yes.
That's why we went to the Senate. He did not propose a single bill. He will go to ECOWAS meeting in Nigeria along with Prince Johnson. We will collect Padam and don't attend the meeting. He will stay in the hotel room and chill and collect the Padam. And it was because of them, ECOWAS had to change the law. And then when we used to go to ECOWAS meeting, right? By the time you arrive, they'll give you your Padam, right? They will hope that you go get your lodging and settle yourself. But when we had then started, they'll take the Padam, they'll not show up for the session. So ECOWAS had to change the policy. So nowadays, when we used to go, instead of you getting your money on day one, you spend the first 2 days there. Then before they pay you, now you got to come to session and you got to sign in the log. Then before they get your money, but we will go there, collect the money, and go lay down in your hotel and chill in Nigeria. Because why? He had no professional input to make at the ECOWAS Parliament. No contribution whatsoever to any of the discussions that were taking place at that level. Zero productivity.
And yet our beloved Ellen Johnson Sirleaf saw this individual in 2017 and thought to make him our president. My heart too bad for that woman. Bad.
Jerry, let's hear from you. You wanted to talk on this topic.
Yeah, Stephen, as I listen to you, in public service, every serious country or government that want to succeed, they can take the critical mass of the intellectual class and put them. That's why Ellen was pushing small and effective government. But this government, because of lack of economic strategy and innovation, they promised job creation. They said create one over how many million jobs. And then the only answer they could give, but we hire Civil 7, who told you that in the context of development policy, that when we talk about job creation, we're talking about the one in government. People are fighting to reduce government. Ghana, the last time I checked, I think their public services, if it's now around 20% or below, that are working in government. All the other people are in the entrepreneurial sector. You bring a bunch of people in government, you reduce people pay, professionals are in the country crying. I spoke to many of our folks from the Ministry of Finance. They are there, they are struggling. It's not easy. And I mean, people who used to make like $1,000, take that money and make it to 400. So that man is not motivated. Only on serious government can do that. You can just say what's striking all around the place. The president goes to Capitol Building and make political statement. We'll increase civil service salary and blah, blah, blah. Up to now. So, it's unfortunate. Ellen Johnson said in time, the economy was always flowing in terms of civil service being empowered. The market, that's why revenue collection. That's why I laugh when you say, budget going up, but my money come down. But when budget was down, my money was up. What kind of economic policy is that? They're not doing any infrastructure development. Yes, that the people of Grand Judea say, oh, my man. So they won't roll here, the whole side, they say, if you leave all the people that get that number, when they take that number, will just be left here. So they are not concerned, even empowering the people. The poor teacher that is way in the village, that man sending his son to school somewhere, they make him take pay. Small money, small money. So the level of indignity our civil service, that's why the president of the Civil Service Association, the man is compromised. Mohbad Johnson. Every time you go, he just gets in talking after that against Monty, you could say that. Because you can get civil service across the country suffering like this. It was less than miles the other day. Today, transport. It could be other people. All the indignity our people are going through. It's unfair. You're not creating jobs, the money just circulating among you're building estates. And then civil servants are contributing, are supposed to do effective service delivery. You don't care about them. How you expect the government to perform? You only own money making spree. Ali, you build a dream home on 9th Street. You looted the Liberian people money. These kind of practices are unfounded. And that is the reason why, in my opinion, and I know the Liberian people are aware that we're supposed to register to vote and unseat this individual. Because Liberia deserves better. And that person who's supposed to rescue our country is Joseph Nyeman Boakai. I have realized something I don't comprehend. How did we get here? How did we get here? Stephen, why you see they say garbage in, garbage out? We are not they not come with any agenda. That's why we are color speak from the country. We are not go to any debate, they not say anything. People just say that they want to. So sometimes we are not talking, he not say anything. In my mind, all the things civil servant talking around people to do in government cannot. You can see them. They only go there and threaten about listen to something. If you try, I'll call the police to come because I partisan police now to come and beat the people who provide public service. Then when tomorrow government revenue drives and they be sinking some, we can do the one. When people go and register people car, take money, and you say corruption. Stephen, I stopped this fight.
Let me play the old tape here from Molu when he talk about how we travel here to it. Let me see how that's Molu.
Overnight was external. My man, the man exploited the process. Brother, the money I met to a house. The remnant of the building yesterday. the money that got raised, they money that now the man, money that they got raised, remember the money that got raised. I mean, the man goes to other countries, he goes 6 money for the country when the money comes, he got right. That's where he don't want to put the money. This time, right there.
The most similar mistake he made in one section. The most similar mistake in one section. They were too fast in instructions.
What do you get that call? You say, you want to lose the election. And the time they come in, just so much, we don't pray for you, we're going to leave it. What? Oh,
So you listen to Molu talk about these things. You see government look, and yes, why into Miata PR and Jupo. Yes, why I get confused. We're borrowing more money than the previous government borrowed. We're collecting more revenue than the previous government collected. But yet still we can't pay salary. Doctors are even complaining.
Budget surplus.
Yeah, doctors are complaining that they've not been paid since February. Meanwhile, civil servants, many of whom making $70, $60, $45. You have a president flying private jet. He goes to the walker for 48 days with an Interride that cost the government $1.5 million. And then he comes out with these scam news and Liberians. Look, the fact that we and then Miata struck a point about the legislature. The fact that the president can collect money, travel on to and just come and just talk anything there, and nobody there to even. The man went to Qatar for the World Cup, came back where he said Hungary promised us 50 million, right? What the money that the Hungarian government promised us? He said he had a conversation in the VIP lounge at the stadium with the Sultan of Qatar. The man said we're going to get $100 million for Nufaru. Where is it? And they were listing the achievement of the trip. The man goes to UAE. He comes back the next day. They say they're bringing 50 billion. And the same day he talked about the 50 billion, the next day education minister comes and say the educational system need 1 billion to resolve. So I said, you just take 1 billion for the 50. You just use the 49 to build other sectors. You know, you got a bunch of jokers. You got a bunch of jokers. People with no real desire to want to transform the country, playing leadership role, and then we expect them to move Liberia into prosperity. Listen, and I thought we would have made some of us shame when we opposed we are in 2005. We just so believing that we had no pedigree, he had no intellectual curiosity, he had no capacity, and no fundamental understanding about governance, public bureaucracy, or moving a country in the right direction. And we argued in 2005 that any attempt to make we are president, Liberia would have plunged into chaos. 2005, we were all in the nooks and crannies of the country, in the interior, campaigning against WIA on those fundamental bases. Liberians listened, they did not vote for him. 2011, we still said that WIA did not have what it takes to be vice president to nobody. And that the vice presidential position is a heartbeat away from the presidency. So people who are prepared, because you will be prepared to be president on day one in the event where the president is not alive or the president cannot make it. Then came 2014, senatorial bid. We opposed WIA, that the guy had no desire to want to go in the legislature to transform anything. He wanted income. He went to the legislature. He did not propose a single bill to advance anything about the ordinary people, many of whom thought that WIA had the country at heart. No bill to promote healthcare for ordinary Liberians. No bill to promote maybe a welfare system for aged Liberians that we consider veterans from 60, 70 up. No bill to help young kids go to school, get maybe stipend or get some supplies. None of those things that will really, really, really impact the slum community that you claim to have come from. Then in 2017, we opposed you because we knew that for you to be, I don't know how come, and anything that was right, I don't know how come Madam Sally did not see this. Because we saw this in 2005, we saw it in 2011, we saw it in 2014, and we saw it again in 2017. That WIA was a proved disaster willing to happen. And he's proving all right. 6 years as president, we are still things that everybody in the government there for 6 years with him. Even if the messing up, Samuel Toy said that 6 years, if Maggie had not stolen money from the US and the US government sanctioned him, Maggie will still be there. Bill will still be there. Serena Seaforth will still be there. Commerce Minister will still be there. Rice price go up, shortage come, people jump in the street, people all over the place looking for rice. Nobody is reprimanded. The government, okay, 9 days later, Liberia feeling forgetting, the country moving on. All they saw die, we go on the street, we do June 7, everybody come back to normal, it resets. We are back there. Zero, nothing happened. This is unfortunate. This is unfortunate. And if Liberians cannot use October to correct the wrong, we'll be done with our country. Somehow we'll just pack our hand and just wash the process. We'll never say a word. Because we come here every day, we spend 3 hours, 4 hours here, we talk about Liberia, we talk about ways to move the country forward, and we talk about how it is important for us to elect the right people to move the country in the right direction. If you don't listen and you vote, we'll be done. We'll be done. We'll never talk about Liberian politics. We'll just watch it from afar. We'll look for money, we'll call Morrow, we'll spend 1, 2 that we'll drink our beer, we'll pie around, we'll come back. And all in all, we'll just watch. Because it means we deserve what we want. That's why Enda Miata went in the studio, made a song to register to vote, because she knows the significance of registering to vote. All of you who in Monrovia to be in line, Enda Miata pack up bag, left Accra, went Monrovia just to register. Some of you right in Monrovia there sitting down and chilling. Bad people are elected when good people refuse to vote. That's how you elect bad people, because a no vote is a vote for a bad person. You need to get up, wake up, go register, encourage people in your community to register. It is important. Let that change happen. And if we fail in October, Liberia will be like a journey from the wilderness to the cemetery. It will be a looting spree, because we will not be facing the electorate again. Nobody will care if you support them or not, because they don't need you. They will remove you from your job if they find out that you didn't support them, and nobody will say a word.
No, Stevie, they can always, I mean, when they get that kind of power and they get comfortable, then they will be thinking about third term.
They start thinking about third term. Yeah, over them money, you can just access more them and change the constitution for you to get 6 more terms.
In 2017, the CDC were promoting George Weah for the next 24 years.
24 years? They were playing the charter and play book.
They were
playing that. You are not even said that in power Kuye. For first 6 months, he was looking at 2024 vision.
That's right.
27 years. When it'll be like Tottenham. That's what somebody told me one time. They said Taylor had 3 characteristics of 3 presidents in Liberia. He used to dress like Toba, he talked like Todman, and acted like Doe.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, he took 3 president characteristics. He used to dress like Toba, he used to talk like Todman, and he acted like Doe. And why he thought we would have been a 27-year plan for Vision 2024, and then in 5 years. Where is Taylor today? Tomorrow, next year is Vision 2024. Where is Taylor today? His language in the British self. Doing everything in one room. We got to learn from history. Guys, yeah.
We are, because I saw the discussion going so.
Yeah, we're just venting. Yeah, we're talking about the whole salary thing. We're just venting, man.
Yeah, but like I said, for me, when we talk behind the scene, I did say to you, Friday, that was the talking point. What the guys did today at transport is just a repeat of what they did on Friday. Um, we've seen many of those things in the past. We see more to come because that's what the country is. I'm sure there are laws on how salaries are fixed, but the most educated 12 will go to Cuba protester and say we'll do this because we are saying we want to do it. We're taking your salary to 150 gross. The president say we should do it, and he knows that gross uh, shows that that's not the amount that people will take home, because after you remove the taxes from the gross, then you get a net. And that even if they were to take 150 home, 12 and others, they gotta be sincere to themselves. 12 doesn't have a full home, but I'm sure he knows how much he spends monthly to keep that home going. I'm sure he knows that 150 is far less than what he spends on each of the kids under him for just recess in school if they're going to school. He knows that 150 is so minimal compared to the toiletries, for example, that are being used in his home. Considering the way transportation system looks in the country, he knows that 150 cannot even pay the transport fare of a person, say, working with the Ministry of Transport who lives Douala to go to work every day and back for 1 month. He knows that. But then to celebrate that, to be something big they're doing for somebody by saying, oh, the president said, we'll give you 150 gross. But like we all have said, and I would like to think that these are the things that are supposed to motivate people to go vote, to go register to vote. Are they doing so? I already said that will be the second talking point. Next, say no extension.
Mm-hmm.
How far are we? Do we have a good number of our people who voted? Because no matter how angry they all are in the country, who register, because no matter how angry they all are in the country, if you're not registered to vote, you're not going to vote. And if you don't vote, you will not be able to change anything about the state of affairs in the country, because the only people who register to vote are the people who will be allowed to make that decision. And if they are the wrong people, they will make the wrong decisions. Everybody else in the country will suffer. I was having a conversation with a guy the other day, one of these ingrained haters. Oh, you know how to change yourself, the country, after the country, you're go sit down somewhere else, then you're attacking government. And then I said to him, the first thing you have to realize is that where each and every man wants to live is a human rights issue. They have to make that decision for themselves. Two, I don't see myself attacking government. I see myself talking about the issues that affect my country. But if in your own choice you consider it as an attack on government, so be it. We don't have to debate about that. It's based on your thought process. That's your conclusion. Live with it. See me as a government, anti-government person. See me as a guy who's attacking government. But I told you, I said, know this and know that well. I was never a part of George Weah's dream. You who had a dream, you have to live the dream. You don't force people who are not part of your dream to live your dream. It has to be a matter of choice. If I want to live you, because we knew what this man would have brought. In the majority said he was a man for the country. Isn't it a good thing that you're the one who wanted, you're the one living? Even though some people didn't have the opportunity like me to get out, so they're there, but haven't they been punished because of the stupidity of many of you? So you wanted everybody else to be punished along with you? That's why I told you, no, I refuse to be punished. So I feel good that I'm out. And trust me, if we are defeated in 2023, I say I'll be back. And I will thank God for the fact that What you brought upon yourself, I didn't live with you. I didn't get punished by your decision. You're who did it, you're the one who got punished. Unfortunately, with some innocent people who were not part of your stuff, but they got no choice, they got nowhere to go, they got stuck in it. So they suffer where you are. So I'm just saying this to say that's what happens when we got that power in our hand and we decide not to use it. There's a time people register to vote. People begging people to register to vote. If you got children, your mother, one of the statistics shows that women generally are in a good number are not interested. Why wouldn't they be interested? In the different homes, the various accounts we have, where the husbands have been targeted by this government, they can't find what to do. And those women who are their wives, who are struggling, going to Douala, Kuwait, running behind cars to sell something that in the way in the night, they see what kind of profit they made from it, then they go and go drive for the family to eat. Which means you're keeping your children hungry for any money until you see how they hustle gone as you're chunking your lap out over a car and looking for something. They just drinking water, finding some kind of way to be strong. When they eat that food, they go straight to bed with it, with digestive challenges. Got no action, no motion, you go straight to bed. You know the stress you're passing through to do that, to help your husband, to help your kids. And if you don't vote, you're saying to yourself, I want to remain in this condition for the next 6 more years. You may not be too lucky to see the end. Because the stress associated with looking at life can kill. Stress can kill. Frustration can kill people. All kinds of things can kill people. If you don't see the need to remove yourself from that difficult life situation you're in, imagine your country. If for you, Liberian, you don't have to be in any political party. Forget about the other people who are partisan people, but you don't have to be in any party. But could you others say, even if you're qualified, if you're not in any party, you don't deserve a job. And they should give the job to only their partisans. You don't see the need to move them? Then don't cry for salary. All the people who protested without wanting to really get anything. But if you went to check, probably 90% of them who protesting now doing that thing were the people who said, oh, by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf or Unity Party people so corrupt that they get away. And they might have joyously, graciously ushered in this government that came, and whatever Ellen government was paying them, they slashed it in the name of harmonization and began to give them money that can't even feed them, not to talk about other necessities of life. And the Ministry of Finance can only come to you and say the president say. Is it the president that sets civil servant, public sector salary? And that's why they book ball. They say no other book. That's why he's saying to people, some of whom are very educated, just unfortunate to be where they are. You're telling them we'll do this because the president said we must do it. So we needed to expect this, Stephen. I mean, to close on this issue for me, we needed to expect this because if you say you're harmonizing salary, what did you expect? You're taking salary from where they were, commensurate with the economy, and bringing it to a place where you know the people will not be able to live on it. But because you didn't have the money, you have packed your people in government. You came to power, like Jerry said, rather than focusing on the private sector as the engine of growth, as far as job creation is. Your definition of job creation was to place people in government offices. So in offices where even there was no job, you place them there, they didn't have to go to work. Those who were constrained to go there, they sit down on laptops and play Zuma. Candy Crush. And they found their way home just for them to be able to earn a salary. And for you, you're creating jobs. That's your definition of creating jobs. Your wage bill hit the ceiling. Even the central bank that's supposed to be a professional environment, you bastardized it. You are forced by the IMF and other financial institutions to cut down all the incompetent people you put there. That's how the central bank were a little bit cleansed. In most of the ministry and private, public corporation, autonomous agencies, that is still the problem. And that's the reason why you can't pay salary. The workforce at the Ministry of Transport, when you came to power, was smaller than what it is. You made it bigger. And even though you have reduced the salary because you made it so big, Even paying them with a small salary is a challenge. That's the problem you created. You need a professional government that will come with the right people, the technocrats, the professionals, who you know you have. Liberia is not lacking in human resource capacity. We got some of the best, highly educated people who know how to run government. That's what Ellen did. Ellen didn't say she had to get Unity Party for job. She came way to a university here and said that Chris will come. She came to the IMF and said, Antoinette Saye come. All she needed to do based on her connection was IMF will pay this woman a salary because government didn't have money to pay her. She found the right people, put the pieces back together. You came, you deploy incompetent folks. They reverse everything. That's where we are. Good enough, it's 6 months. They're away from changing it. Will it be changed? And live with the Liberian people. What they want is what they will get. Like Jerry said, these things are garbage in, garbage out. You put in garbage, you don't expect to get something different. You put in garbage, you get garbage. You don't go plant cassava. And when you go harvest, you expect when you dig the ground, you see potato. It doesn't work like that. You put cassava in the ground. When there's time for harvest, that cassava you harvest. If you put I don't know how you call it, dig pan or whatever you call it, when they saw you at dig pan, they want to saw you at Riapo give you. When you put it in the ground, you're not going to harvest cocoa or coffee. You have a dig pan. So go sow your seed on October 10th. You sow incompetent people. You bear the pains and agony associated with incompetence. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry, yeah, I know you're about to run, so.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to say something small about this election commission thing and what Veteran Pia said. You know, I saw the press statement. It was on different media outlets that they have now extended the registration. Yeah, it's true. Some of the people are not willing to actually go register. But those that are going there, the process they are going through, Stephen and Veteran Pia, is very stressful. Some of these people, they complain, when they go to the people, they don't want the acting on their own phone. And sometimes they say system down. You're talking registering a good number of Liberians in the political capital of our country. And also there are some deficiencies from the national institution. Yeah, we encourage our people to go and register. But if you say you can extend the process with the level of the slow pace, well, we foresee something. They need to rethink their decision, in my opinion. Because the number of persons that we expect to register in Monsubaru should be not less than million plus. Or 2-3 million, 2 million something. But if you register less number like that, I foresee some kind of reaction from the citizens. I hope they play the game well. I hope they know what they are doing because there are associated consequences. And, and finally, the issue of these people saying that, some people cannot get job and blah, 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 when I got the KDI scholarship in Zazu, some of our friends that you may know, and I call some of that needed, when they call Ministry of Education to find out how Jerry and Valai got scholarship. Interestingly, they call Ministry and say, but how did Jerry manage? I say the greatest other people, they get a scholarship, who give it to them? So Valai said, but interestingly, some of them came here. They know how difficult it is to get a KDI scholarship. It's merit-based. You're buying nobody, who you talking to, say? What you put in is what you get. You're talking about the level of people saying you got to deny these people and this, that. At some point in time, as you are being appointed as Deputy Director General at LIPA, but Thomas Balaswe say it can't work. He said Chief of Office started. And he said Chief of Office started. I just look at it, I laugh. There are so many, instances. Then 2020, he asked me, I was supporting. I said, you can't beat Delon, Baku. You can't beat Delon. So, I mean, people say we hate people, but we bury our capacity, we living our life. We are only speaking to our people. Then you say we hate. What do you who to do? Like my young brother Abby will say, envy. Envy for wedding. You, when Universal Liberia said you are doing this thing, we're advocating. You know how many people see you go in our country, carry transcript for confirmation hearing? So many of them say we hate them. Mama Molina will take the microphone and say, Delon brother cannot be, I know who, blah, 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 blah. And Samuel Wood have to rescind that decision. And he say, oh, citizens must be given jobs. So many things. Only incompetent people can do that. And, I encourage our people, let's register, because we have to change this government. Imagine we are seeing first time where he's seeking re-election. He has no remorse. Reckless killing. All these things are happening. People are suffering. And then you gain second term. Encourage to that the family say that grass will eat grass. Will eat grass. Yes. So let's change this thing. The thing here we have to pray for God to intervene. Because the thing not just prayer. The Bible says faith without action is a dead faith. It's a dead faith. So let's act now and register. So we can take the nightmare from all our country. We thank you to you brought in now, at least you know it. In our country, giant, I think our country devil. So thank you so much. It's a wonderful time. I mean, I'll try to see you guys on Wednesday.
I like that, Jerry. For country giant to country devil.
Yeah.
So you're going to work or you went to the birthday party now? Which is which?
This is Tuesday. I'll meet Tuesday. All right, I'm going to do my late hustle.
Oh, your birthday on Monday and this is Tuesday already.
Yeah, Tuesday. 2 minutes to 7.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
So we consider your birthday still on because it's still Monday, yeah.
Oh yeah. That I know. I know that for a fact. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, see you guys on Wednesday.
You have a wonderful time.
And then Miata, thank you. Say hi to that family for me. And maybe if I come Ghana, I'll try to use you and see. I want to talk to the erudite intellectual in the Republic of Nigeria as it is.
He's in London. Oh,
he's in London at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, so that's shorter for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, love.
Okay.
Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I hope Chupo, you need to come on. If you're listening, you need to come on. So that we're preparing for course. But I mean, Jerry struck a very good point, especially when he said we has changed from country giant to country devil. I thought that was a very good one. It's sad how many Liberians.
The guy who made a song for Dylan, and he didn't say devil. He said from country giant to country road.
Yeah, to country road. It's sad how many Liberians thought that this guy had this country a hat. Everywhere you bow, the back of the country, the back of the country, the back of the country. And that was one of the biggest defense when you say, why are you voting for we are? Oh, the back of the country a hat. And we're glad to some extent, even though we're all feeling the pinch. But we're glad to some extent that the Liberian people able to give him power so that they had that he get the country out, so that we can see it for ourselves. And this is what we get. Now we know that we are only get himself a hat. That's why immediately after he became president, he built his condominium. His dilapidated 9th Street residence. He rebuilt it, broke that trash down, built a new house. The one in rehab, he has a Jamaica resort. All of this happening when people in West Point can barely find food. The Atlantic Ocean is encroaching on their land. You see erosion eating up their property. People go to bed every night with nothing. He didn't care. He went there and built one scam football fee. Said, you ain't get food to eat, but you can practice in the evening. the level of disrespect, the level of we as deliberate attempt to treat Liberians as nobodies. He comes to the country, he says nothing, he leaves, he says nothing. Nobody asks him any question. Those in authority at the legislature don't say a word. And then we're just moving along. President came to the US, was invited at the CIA headquarters. We don't know what was said. There's speculations. He goes to Dubai. He comes with another vlog as some kind of nonsense. It's just over. It's just over. He's back in Monrovia. He's waiting for Sunday maybe to go to church and attack somebody at the behind that scam thing he called church.
God's law.
Yeah, he's ready to go there on Sunday and misbehave. You know, and Jupo, if you're listening, Jupo, you gotta come on so we can use your phone to take local calls. Jupo, if you're listening.
Can I say something about
Yes,
the National Elections Commission? I didn't expect the National Elections Commission to extend the voters' registration. Now I'm just speculating and I'm just putting my own in there. But like I brought to the attention last week, the voting machines that we are using is not ours. It has been loaned or borrowed from the Ghanaians. That's why you have a limited amount of this equipment. That was the reason why the registration was done in 2 batches. So when they are finished with the first batch, you transfer the very same machines, etc., to the second batch of registrants. Now, I said last week, I do not know if it was purposely designed by the National Elections Commission. My experience with the voting was less than 5 minutes. And that is because I had received the NEC website to go on and register, and came out with my code at the end of it. So on getting to the registration center, all I had to do was take my phone, show it to the young man who was standing there. He took his whatever, scanned my code, and he had all my details. So it was just a matter of taking the photograph, taking your fingerprint, and sitting down and waiting for your card to come out. But all of the criticisms that we're hearing from the registration center is man-made. It's man-made, meaning we've costed the National Elections Commission. Because how does your machine run out of cards? How? When you know very well that in condensing polling centers into major registration centers, you're going to have over 500 registrants. You're going to have over 500. So how come you are not prepared to have 500 cards? That you'll have people standing in line, and then when it comes to their turn, you say the card finished. Then they say the ink will finish. These are man-made problems. The Sierra Leoneans say, "Hore, hore, bostrosis." You had registration to begin on the 20th of March. The equipment came on the 18th. So it tells me you trained your IT people or your people who were, you trained them in advance of no equipment, if they got any training. Because you could not have trained your staff with that equipment from the Friday when they arrive in Monrovia and you are starting registration on Monday. This is so typical of us Liberians in 2020s. It's typical. Everything get bazaar. Everything is done with a laissez-faire, no professionalism. And hey, we accept it. Liberians accept it. They stand in line, they can't register to vote, they leave, go home and complain, and not going back there again. And you know, hey, I can't say I blame them. But I think the National Elections Commission should have given the information to the general public. Every single 18-year-old has an Android phone. Or they got iPhone. I saw some of the children in Liberia, they got iPhone. They aren't even trying to graduate to. And they stay on their phones all day. They stay on their phones all day. You hear they ain't got data, but they will put data in to get on whatever they want to get on. All of these young people could have registered online, register their parents online, etc. Everybody gets the barcode. 5 minutes a person. 5 minutes a person. That is what is supposed to happen. But the National Elections Commission is concerned with money, who getting the money, and fighting amongst themselves, undermining each other, etc. The deputy is fighting the chairlady. I mean, they got so much personal issues and toxic issues at that. How do we expect these kind of people to run an election for 2-point-something million people? How? We're going to have all these ups and downs. Because everything Jeff PC, I know Devietta Brown Lasana, I know her. And she's a professional. She's a professional. And from the very beginning, when people were condemning her, that they were not comfortable with her position as National Elections Commission chair because of, you know, things that to me really didn't matter. But I honestly believe, having worked with the likes of Francis Johnson Morris and Mary Brownell and others at the National Elections Commission, she would have stepped out to the plate. I really thought so. But obviously, you know, I was wrong. We make wrong decisions. We expect so much from our people, etc. And I'm saying you got I know Devietta, I know Tipla, and so many people in that National Elections Commission. We've had elections since 2005. Good Lord. And we still cannot perfect it. And we still cannot perfect it. We're grumbling about money. As soon as they say something, they didn't pay. Did you read that the staffers were threatening to go on strike because they hadn't been paid? Because they hadn't been paid. So, you know, it's part of the Liberian DNA, man, in 2023. It's part of our DNA. Everything.
We're losing her?
They are not turning into small Miami.
I see Senator Tedon here. Senator, are you there? Yeah, I think it's raining in Liberia, according to reports. It's raining in Pong County. It's crazy, man. Hopefully, Antemiata will get her stuff. Welcome.
You welcoming me?
Yeah, the way you creep on up.
Where's the organ?
I like my man who have video club, and the owner used to go high across the street and be counting how many people enter, right? So everybody in the community thought the man was cheating because he would be hiding across the street and he would count everybody that entering. Then he would just walk to the guy to the door. Yeah, the 20 person that inside today will show the same show tomorrow. So everybody in the community say the guy was cheating because he would know how many person can come in the video. So one day while you were hiding under the table across the street, somebody spotted him. And I had a whole secret box. Because you always be under the table looking at who are entering your country. Tell you are cheating. Yeah, but it's good you're joining us. At least we can use your phone to talk to some of our people. I'll see Jupiter back. Let me see. I think Miata said back.
Okay, let me say good evening to everyone in Liberia. Radio Duba is on. On Friday, Radio Duba went off along the way because there was a heavy storm in Grand Bassa County, and normally they do that. They cut the radio off when the storm is heavy so that it don't affect the equipment. And they're on right now. Bourgeois Radio is on. Let me say good evening to everybody. Thank you for welcoming me. And good day wherever you are around the world on the social media. And then Miata, how you doing? Thank you for registering to vote. You have made your voice. You have made your voice more essential.
Senator, I'm not
more
happy.
impactful.
I didn't see you while I was on. You promised a visit.
True.
But I understand.
You know me.
I understand you're busy.
I let her argue when I get genuine excuse or reason to argue. I like to submit.
Yes, I like your business.
Thank you.
Besides, I'm your older big sister.
Always.
In fact, you can be my son, Dara. How old are you?
Of course. You and my mom the same age. You and my mom the same age. Yeah.
So you can't argue with me. You got home training.
Yeah. And then be I'm feeling putting me in the box. I'm feeling that.
You got home training, baby. Thank God.
Thank you. Thank you. Jeremy P, how you doing, my brother? Let me say good evening to everybody.
Yeah, we are.
I thought Jerry Nipan was here. Happy birthday to Jerry Nipan, a very dedicated member of our panel. Happy birthday, Jerry. I wish you all the best. Best wishes. More years to come, Jerry. But let me not intrude into the discussion. I will come in when I'm called. But thank you for welcoming me.
No, but we over the 2 hours mark, we're talking about we talk about a couple of things. We talk about the Elections Commission's statement that they will not extend the BVR process, the biometric voter registration process, and then secondly, we talk about the protest at the Ministry of Transport. One of the things we were looking at was how come we're experiencing tremendous growth in terms of our revenue, according to the government. We're borrowing at a record-breaking pace. We've borrowed over $1.2 billion in 5 years. We've not been able to improve the conditions of the ordinary civil servant. Many of them, some of them making as low as $60, $45, $70, $80. So we're just looking at it. How is it that government will go to bed and realizing amidst the inflationary pressure that is being placed on people's dollar, that you in this war pay somebody $60. If you pay somebody $60 a month in any place on planet Earth, that person will be placed on a suicide watch.
Stephen, apart from the staff on my payroll, official payroll in the Senate, I got 15 persons on my personal payroll. We gotta help. I got 15 persons on my personal payroll. So when I take pay, they do take pay. 150. When I take pay, they take pay. 150 each, at least the minimum. And I want no taxes deducted because that's
Yeah.
directly to them. Yeah, you know, apart from the staff on my payroll, I got 15 additional persons. And now that the rehab center is open, a lot is also going there. You will notice that I don't waste my time talking about George Weah and criticizing his government any longer. I gave those people a long time ago. I gave Weah and his government a long time ago because I keep saying George Weah himself has told me, but not speaking to me, that we shouldn't put him there. Not because he's not speaking to me, that's not what I'm saying. I say he's speaking to me to look at him, his action, his activity, to say, Dylan, I'm begging you. You'll see the way I'm treating you in the country in my first time, and you're putting back at your business. George Weah has given me that message and the message to the country a long time ago. Only very smart people can get it. Only very smart people can get it. I don't waste my time on talking about George Weah and what he doing. Where I don't even know where the president of Liberia is, and at this point, I don't really care. That's how much I have given up on George Weah because he has helped me to position myself in a way that he wants us to rescue him by voting him out of office because he's like on some hostage to be on a ballot by his people. And let's talk about voter registration. Before that, I've always said, if you don't have TV at your house and you are in the street telling people you have TV at home, you actually fooling yourself. When Samuel Tuane come and talk about budget surplus, revenue performing, revenue will not be performing and expenditure is troubling. Revenue is not possible for revenue to be performing. For the understanding of our people like myself, when I say revenue performing, it means we're collecting the taxes, the government collecting money from taxes. When you collect the money, the taxes, then it's also spend it in keeping with the budget. And one of the first priority of government spending or expenditure is salary payment. Once salary is delayed in any government, it means either the government is overly corrupt, they're collecting the money, but they're overly corrupt, and so they're using it anyhow without accountability, or they are not collecting the money at all because of the kind of governance they are carrying on. It is bad, it is poor, nobody wants to believe in the system, so people are not investing in the system. And somebody who was bringing in 10 containers before and paying taxes to government, they have reduced it to 2 or 3 containers or no container, no shipment at all. So either the government is either lying, the administration is either lying about revenue or collection performance, or they're using the country money just anyhow. So it is just clear. George Weah is not even on my mind. He's not in my focus. He's not on my pathway. The only thing that's on my pathway and on my mind right now is for the grace of God to allow Joseph Boakai to name his running mate, hopefully soon, and so that it can be in conformity with his thinking Liberia, loving Liberia, and building Liberia philosophy. And by the time that is done, the country will start to take shape. The excitement problem, hopefully, will wake up for people to know that a redemption and rescue is just at hand. Government workers, I'm sitting down as senator. We haven't received, and now you can't talk it because they will say, but you're just there for yourself. Somebody will ask you, Senator, please help me with gas slip, and you say you get it, they say you mean. We haven't gotten slip since November. We haven't taken pay. Yeah, we haven't taken pay. Yes, we haven't taken pay for 2 months. If government paying you now, They give you portion in Liberian dollar and portion in US dollar. They give you the portion in Liberian dollar for a few weeks, and then the US dollar portion, nobody knows when it will come. Today is the 3rd of March, of April. March pay, no sign. You can't be collecting revenue. Your revenue collection cannot be performing, and the expenditure is not matching. Then either you lying like the person who says they have TV at their house and boasting about it in the public, but no TV at home. You fooling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The only persons who will fall for it are the people who think you being truthful or who believe you. But if you think you're fooling them, you actually fooling yourself, because when you go home, no TV there. Budget surplus, breeze. Revenue performing, breeze. For us to pay salary, we got to be taking loan or credit facility from here. The government can announce in a very joyous way that World Bank or IMF has loaned all $10 million, and it's a big deal. And all these loan and credit facility, all this money we're loaning and we're borrowing go largely toward payment of salary. Any administration, any government that borrows money from time to time to pay salary, that government is doomed for failure already. Because when you're taking loan, you must take loan for investment, for empowerment of, loan must come with some return, some benefit. If you got to take loan to pay civil service salary, that means it is troubling. And that's what George Weah and his regime and his gang have been doing from time to time. That is why they rejoice and make a big publicity headlines whenever there's some World Bank or IMF credit facility, just to fill in some gap that the government is not able to fill when it comes to revenue margin expenditure. I'm feeling for employees of government, people who work in the public sector, who can take pay on time, health workers, teachers, security people. Forget about us in a higher bracket. Nobody will feel sorry for us when we complain. So we just move in the background and more ourselves, and you borrow it for your friend $10 or $20, and when you get it, you give it back. And that's what we do. And that's the kind of reckless regime that we have. And that is why God ran the 6 years so quickly, fast.
Yeah, faster 6 years.
Yeah, Ellen first term 6 years was almost to finish. Yeah, long. And this year is the first year January looked like it just came and flew, because people always say, the 6 years just went on their hand, but before they could look at their watch or their time, 6 years is late. They can't do anything to recover. You cannot recover the story about the 3 missing Liberians. You cannot heal the wound of Liberians who have been mysteriously found dead here and there almost every day. A lot of other things happening. You cannot recover the wound caused by the kangaroo removal of Kabina Janet from the Supreme Court bench. A lot of things. 6 years just ran just like that, because God, in his own wisdom, decided that George Weah will continuously be an embarrassment to the democratic growth of this country and my people. But since they think George Weah is a solution to their problem, I got to give them George Weah so they themselves can take George Weah out of their system by themselves. Then they will look to me for redemption. And we are just right there. 6 years just gone. January came and just flew just like that. And we are in April. All of a sudden, just day before yesterday, we were celebrating New Year. We are already in April.
6 more months to go.
6 more months to go. Months now, and not years any longer. And even seditious who love George Weah more than their parents are no longer largely talking about 12 years. They didn't second wait for the 6 year to end. So we can redeem them. So let me make this appealing call. Go register to vote. Hello, Liberians following us in Lofa, in Bong, in Grand Bassa, in Monserrato County, in Nima County, across the country. Go register to vote. Don't make it seem like CDC is so strong that they alone forming queue, and when you go on the queue, they can tell you to move from there. Go get in that queue. When they say the system is down, the system don't be down and they be registering CDCs. When the system is down, which is not supposed to be, the system is down or should be down for everybody. The delays are terrible, they are unacceptable, but we cannot come across as whining as if to say some orchestration is being made against us. When they say the system down, while CDCs can stay around until the system come back up. By the time we go to vote a voter registration center and they say the system down, 2-3 minutes, we leave on that, then we start whining out on radio or on Facebook, and they process slow, and they say the system down, but citizens can wait for the system to get back up. I will not tolerate, I will not embrace, I will not encourage whining. I will not buy into conspiracy theory that I have no proof about, that this voter registration is designed in a way that it is for CDC and CDCs. Go and get registered to vote. I'll stop there for now.
You're right, Senator, about the patience and tolerance of our voters. Like you say, the first day when I went to register, I shared my concern with members of the class Reloaded, and I saw a lot of young people, but I didn't see the civil servants and older people. I was the oldest person at my polling station. But then somebody said to me, but Famula, what do you expect? The children got nothing to do, they got no job. Yes, they have nothing else to do, especially the first-time voters. They're very excited about the fact that they can get the card. And I don't know if you got any kind of feedback, but the first distribution of the cards, Liberians are just, fascinated.
Excited. Yeah.
Excited about this card. So by the time they went home and showed their cards, which was not like our paper registration before photocopy and all, this is a real card. The young people are getting in the line, but like you say, Senator, our people too have to be patient and find out the easiest way. Everybody go to NEC website, get your children to go on for you, register there, go through the whole process. Once you get that barcode, at the end of the process, you stand in any line. In fact, I heard as of last week, there were lines at certain centers for those people who had not filled out the form and those people. If you got a barcode, you stand in the line with the barcode, and when it comes to your time, you will be out of that line in 5 minutes.
Right.
So be patient. I don't see it as a conspiracy like you, sir. Like I said, it's just the Liberian DNA. We don't do things properly. How do we run out of ink? You need ink. How do you blah, 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 and everything else. So we just have to encourage them. And I think it was Pierre who brought up the thing. I also saw it in the newspaper that our women are not very enthusiastic about this whole voting exercise. This is nothing new. This is absolutely nothing new. In 2005, it had to take the then gender minister, Vabla Gayflor, to actually go out to get women to come and register. And I'm very proud also to say at that time, my mother was at the Elections Commission. And she saw the number of women, they followed the number of women who had registered, and it was very low. But like I say, Baba went out there, all of us, to get women to register. And this was not on a political partisan basis. So we need to do the same. Maybe the gender minister of now is talking to women. Unfortunately, the politics has now divided us. So you've got the CDC government against everybody. And, which is so unfortunate, because we are all Liberians. And if you check, we are all interrelated. We are all interrelated.
Please allow me.
Go ahead, sir.
Please allow me, PIO, please indulge me. I want to make a special appeal call to ANC partisans. Please go register to vote. Please. If you notice, most of your leaders cannot register to vote and display their voter card to encourage you to go register to vote. April 9 will mark the end of voter registration in Montserrado County. From the first phase, Montserrado, Grand Bassa County, Magibie, Bombing, and Grand Cape May County. April 9, a week from now, or less than a week from now, voter registration will end in Montserrado County, in Grand Bassa County, in Cape May, in Magibie, and in Bombing. You've seen Joseph Boakai register to vote. You've seen Nyombi Kanga register to vote. You've seen even President Weah register to vote. You've not seen Mr. Cummings register to vote. The reason is because some group of lawyers or some people, I don't know why, they have Mr. Cummings to agree to file a lawsuit for the Supreme Court to pull halt to voter registration until Election Commission will do new electoral redistricting in keeping with the population census. And because of that, you can't be in court asking the court to pull halt to a process, then you go engage with the process. So ANC top leadership cannot be seen registering to vote. When they say this process should be halted, please go register to vote, because I believe that the case filed by ANC before the Supreme Court to put a prohibition, to put a halt on voter registration process, that case was prematurely filed. And if it remains as such, the court, I believe, will rule similarly. When you conduct census, the Constitution says the result of the census will be used to do reapportionment of electoral districts in keeping with the new population figure. But the Election Commission cannot and will not use a preliminary result to do reapportionment of the electoral districts. The result of the census must be final.
To certify.
Exactly. What Legis announced is preliminary. For instance, when I won the election, the Senate was never going to induct me on preliminary report. The report or the result must be final and officially announced by Election Commission, and I am certificated. And then I take my certificate accompanied by a letter from Election Commission to the Senate and deposit it with the Secretary of the Senate, who through the channel will announce it to the Senate that a new senator has been elected and certificated, and set the date for his induction. You can use preliminary report or result to reapportion electoral districts. So the election commission cannot, the commission cannot use the preliminary report. The report will have to be final and officially submitted. Then the legislature will have to do the threshold in keeping with Article 80D of the Constitution. It is that threshold number the Election Commission will use to do the reapportionment. Until legislators can come up with the final report, the Supreme Court, I believe, would not feel obliged. There is no legal reasoning to adjudicate that case and say voter registration process should be halted. Now, ANC is in court waiting for the election, for the Supreme Court to pull halt to the election process and the voter registration process. Mr. Cummings and his leadership cannot be seen registering. What happens if the court rules after April 9? What happens if the court rules after April 9 and say their case was not only out of frivolous, but it was prematurely filed, so they are not issuing any writ? Where would
you go Maryland to register?
So what about the ANC supporters that are in Monserrato, they are in Grand Bassa, they are in Magibi, they are in Bombing, they are in Cape Mount, and I think Babolo? What happens after April 9? Where will they register to vote? Why would people around Mr. Cummings just allow the man to agree to them on something that is so of common sense reasoning that you can use preliminary report on anything to use it for an official matter? Either they wanted him to be in the newspaper with headline that Cummings carried the the election process to court, or I don't know, somebody wanted legal fees. So I am calling on ANC base, ANC partisans, ANC supporters. You go register. Some of the leaders of ANC have probably registered, but they can't make it public.
Why?
For me, they can make it public because it will be in conflict to the lawsuit that is before the court. You can't tell the court that the process is not supposed to go, it's not legal, then you register under the same illegal, quote unquote, illegal process, or be seen as such. That is why Mr. Cummings have not registered. I haven't seen him register for him to motivate his base to go register.
Senator.
So I am asking and calling on ANC folks in good faith. It is not politics. Some group of lawyers, either for legal fees, or somebody somehow duped this man and went ahead to tell him to go file a matter that is prematurely filed. You have to go register to vote. We need everybody together. Go register to vote. I just wanted to pass this.
And Senator, I just wanted to add, because what I've been telling people, the reason why you should take the opportunity to register. I'm not even dealing with the 2023 elections in October. Yes, that is where we are. But it is advisable that you register to vote, you have your card. If October comes and you as an individual decide, I'm not voting.
Right.
But in maybe 2 years, there will be a by-election that you will be interested in. You would already have your card. to
Correct.
participate. If you
Correct.
refuse during this month to register, we do not know when we will get an opportunity to update voters registration, because you know our people, we borrowing the people equipment. We borrowing the equipment, it could be for another 6 years. So get that document. So in the future, you want to participate, you are already ready to register. Because we found out there were a lot of people who didn't register 2005 or 2011, and then someone that they actually liked and they wanted to support was going into a by-election. They couldn't do anything about it because they didn't have the registration. So that's the angle that I tell people, go and register to vote. Senator, I understand you're a politician and you deal with numbers. But to tell you the truth, Ome, the last we checked, 2017, ANC had 125,000 votes. 125,000 votes. If they won't register, they won't register. That is so many. The 125,000 will not stop our candidate. Because out of that 125,000 senator, some of them are dropped. The money not flowing. Then they went and they went and put Musa Belete in the mix. So
and then the other, respectful to disagree with you.
I know you politicians. You can disagree. I understand. We need the numbers. We need the numbers.
You know, every Liberian of voting age should register to vote because it is about themselves and the country.
Yes.
It's about themselves and the country. And when our people start to get this first, they will understand that. Again, please register in your district.
That's another
where
thing.
You live.
Yes.
Hello, people. If on your own volition, you choose to go, especially to your home county,
yes,
where you have interest, and if you can take yourself there, or if somebody can give you lift to go there because it's what you wanted to do, no problem. Let me tell you, my people, why it is important to register the place you reside, the place you live.
Yeah.
If Darius Dillon took you to Bon County where you don't know anybody, or to Grand Bassa County where you have no particular interest, and Darius Dillon won the election in Grand Bassa County, or you voted for him there, or in Bon, or say in Nima, or wherever, other than where you reside, and where you don't have no interest at all, that 2 or 3 things will happen, especially to you. When you finish voting for that person that carry you to that place where you almost know nobody, you got no particular interest. When that person is not in a race any longer, especially for legislative seat or presidential seat, when it is a runoff, that person won't take you back there. And if you don't have the means to go back there, you will not vote, especially for president in a runoff. 2, in your own district, in your own county where you live, if there is a by-election, say for representative in your district where you live or in the county where you live, you cannot vote there because you register to vote in another place where you have no business registering to vote. Please register in your district. If on your own, you believe you have interest somewhere else, okay, you can take yourself there. Number two, if somebody tell you to Banga to vote for them and you're living in Corway, for instance, If somebody take you to bombing to vote for them, and you're living in Nugutan, for instance, or Broad Street, for instance, the place you see, you will go make representative in another district, in another county, and leave it on those people there. Maybe that's not the person the people wanted there. Then what happens when you come back home to Conway or Broad Street or Granville, you will meet some kind of representative in your own district where you live in that you did not want. So you're imposing representative on people where you don't live, where you don't have interest, and at the same time, you're depriving your district, your area, your place of residence of a proper representation. And you can be the first calling on the radio and say, my name Peter Paul, I'm calling for the abandoned district. Who abandoned the district first doing voter registration? If you are now abandoned the district doing voter registration, the place you live, then the person who probably got elected in your district will be the person you want not to abandon your district, the place you live. I just wanted to pass this through. I hope I didn't take all the time.
So Hemad is asking.
You can take all the time, Senator. Someone
Hemad
is
asking what happens to people voters who turn 18. Let's say May 12th, they turn 18.
So during one of the hearings at the Senate with the Elections Commission, the day I asked whether we have money for the election, and the Elections Commission informed us that there was no money, even up to where we said. If you guys followed the hearing, I asked that question. The video clip is available. What happens to Darius Dillon, who turns 18 in July? They say you can vote because our law is such that we have election period cycle every 6 years within there. So the voter registration period is set in such that if you did not register during that period, if you turn 18 thereafter, it's challenging for you to register to vote. You got to wait for the next cycle of election. We need to review that law because, in my view, we are depriving people their right to exercise.
Yes, of course.
So after the official voter registration period, when it closes, you turn 18, you can register to vote. Even next year, if you turn 18, the next voter registration period will be for 2029 election.
So that means the person will be almost 24 years old.
Yes. And the Constitution say every Liberian who has attained the age 18 and above and has no record by law that will deprive them that right to vote should be eligible to register to vote. That means it should be a continuous voter registration process.
That's why I've argued on this show many times that there shouldn't be no voter registration cycle. That process should be an unending process. So as people turn 18, they should go to a particular place, get a voter registration card. Every year they get a card, Because in between, you may not only be waiting for national election, there are by-elections that can come up.
Correct.
So let in between now and the next election cycle, there should be a place where people go and get their registration card.
Correct. So we'll review the law, and once it does not conflict with the Constitution, we'll make the case for likely amendment to the elections law to make it a continual process even after the official voter registration period.
Exactly, because if somebody turns 18 on May 12th, they can't vote.
They can't vote until they reach 2029.
Yeah, and the person will be 24 years old.
Correct, and that is constitutionally wrong in my view, and so we'll have to review that. Correct, and that is constitutionally wrong in my view.
Who getting feedback at you, Paul?
And so we'll have to. Let me go, man. On general.
Oh, okay. So, anybody else? We can take a few calls and then
we go home.
Chuba, if we can take off on the end, or we can.
Senator Dillon, let me ask you 3 quick questions. So I was not surprised when the Election Commission said there will be no extension of the registration period, because it wouldn't have made much sense to me for them to just jump out to extend when none of the actors, and when I say actors, I'm not talking about just the opposition, the ruling party, the opposition parties, nobody have raised a concern with them about the shortness of the time and therefore appealing for extension. So in my mind, they would not have had a basis, and so they're not wrong when they say the time will not be extended.
So let's go step by step here. Let's go step by step. Let's have the discussion.
I just wanted to just
no, let's go step by step. Let's go step by step.
I just want to give you 3 issues, then you can go step by step to discuss it. The second thing is that we witnessed in Yeket district where they talk about this girl called Antoinette that's supposed to be a sedition, being involved in sending messages to Molu, talking about she being a net worker at a place called Ado Namua, and making some suggestions on what the chairman needs to do, carry a whole partisanship. And you can raise it. I don't know whether that caught the attention of any of you in the opposition and whether you've done anything about it. And then I just saw a video while we were on. OKFN is the one carrying that video. And that video is from BYC field. I don't know whether you've seen that video. The field is packed. According to the reporter, in that field are people who are already registered to vote. And I don't know who's behind it, but there are people there who buying those voter cards for them. Perhaps the poverty, the desperation, everything in the country, people just packed. You got to see that video. I don't know whether that has come to the attention of any of you in the opposition. And 2, maybe you can say something about your case, because when I see government of folks posting like Musa Hassan Bility, nothing behind it. They just post it. I saw that like 12 minutes ago. Then it's like maybe the guy, I just want some victory somewhere, or because for the ruling party people to be doing those kinds of posts about somebody also to be a chairman of an opposition. So is there anything we need to know about your party and Musa Bility that are making government folks to be making those kind of posts? So I'll show you go them down so you can flow down with them.
Okay, thank you. You can recall that regarding the extension, I have not been a fan of calling for extension when there was no need yet. The people, our people must not be complacent. We shouldn't be impatient. We should go register to vote. When we shall have exhausted the time and we look at the last election population, voters population, and reasonably it does not come close, especially with expected increase in the population figure, then we can make the case. By the time finish here, we're already asking for extension. And somebody will still be sitting down and say, okay, maybe we extend that time, so wait for the extended period. No, we shouldn't be encouraging our people to be that complacent. I'm not a fan of that, Pierre. I'm not a fan of that. I can understand, and it is disappointing. It should not be that the process has been slow. There has been some challenges, but it was not sufficient enough, in my view, to start to encourage the call for extension. Because even by the time you start calling for extension, the very people who sit in our home, they will be waiting for that period of extension. They say, okay, they will extend that time. When they extend it, at the time will go register to vote. No, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not going to encourage that. The NEC officer in district number 10, thankfully she was exposed. We know that there are citizens deployed as NEC officers. I know few of the NEC officers who are doing voter registration who themselves are not citizens, they are partisans of some of our parties. If one of them became happy trigger or trigger happy to start to send message to their political party and they are caught, then the Elections Commission should act. The Elections Commission has acted, as far as I know, as a senator. They have not only replaced the lady from the center, she's been dismissed. That's action. She has been dismissed. As to the last concern you raised on voter card being purchased, I haven't seen that video. It has always been a cry about people buying voter card. So when you buy the voter card, what it would mean that you use it to go vote for the person, or you buy it so they can lose it or lose it before the election, or you won't keep it for them, or what does it mean? Or you send it, or you won't buy it from them so that they can likely vote against you. They can be in number with cards in the hand to vote against you. All of these things we need to ask ourselves and then ask the question and then follow up to know the truism of what the allegations are. And so it is a good information. I will follow up and I can guarantee you will be.
I just forwarded that video to you so you will see it on Messenger.
Okay. No, I'm not on Messenger.
How? You're on Facebook.
Yeah, but I'm not on Messenger. And then matter when people just get up and send you message. If you love Jesus Christ, send a message to 10%. If you send it, you love God. That I have no God. Yeah, read a message and if you send it, and you will read a message, you will not send it to 5%. In a different message, if you love God, no, that I have no God, that's not want to love.
All right, I just sent it to the class reloaded room on WhatsApp. You see that?
Okay.
Okay, good. And people just see any kind of thing and share it to many once. So I deactivated my Facebook Messenger even before I became senator. Before they say he's senator, now he's acting big. No, that thing is annoying. Jesus Christ died for you. Send it to 10%. You do it. You let Jesus Christ know that I have no God.
Confessions of those who are guilty of waiting for extension.
Yeah.
Approaching the 2005 election, I'm in Ghana. Several of us are in Accra. And we're hearing about, come and vote. And what was the natural thing between us Liberians? Oh, man, don't mind people, man. They will extend. So we sat down in Accra, missed the first extension. Oh, they will extend. They kept inducing people until Senator, they just came out one day and said, pop, end of registration. So I was very involved in the campaigning in 2005. I was not a registered voter because I had not met the deadline. You see, so for those people who waiting for deadline, don't take chance. So you got time now, go register, because waiting for the extension is not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee.
And regarding the Liberty Party case, yes, we've done final argument at the Supreme Court. There is no notice of assignment for us to appear before the court for the final ruling. As far as we know, it is not possible for the court to say that Elections Commission does not have authority to have regulatory authority over political parties, because that is what the law is. Election Commission has made it clear that they have never ever had a hearing in the Liberty Party case to determine a judgment. Everything they've been doing, when Musa writes, they reply him. those administrative actions. When we made the full case at the Elections Commission, led by the political leader Nyobdi Kanga Lawrence, the day we marched at the Elections Commission and with our international partners, and we presented the full file before the Elections Commission, they ordered the hearing officer to hear Liberty Party case to know what actually happening. And by the time the hearing officer started to hear the case, Musa ran to the Supreme Court. The hearing officer took jurisdiction over the matter. Musa filed a motion to dismiss the complaint. The hearing officer dismissed his motion to dismiss the complaint because his motion to dismiss the complaint had no ground on the law. Musa and his team took an appeal before the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners sat and upheld the hearing officer's decision that the hearing officer was justified to dismiss Musa's motion to dismiss the complaint and case against him and to proceed hearing the nitty-gritty of the issue at the Elections Commission hearing office. Then Musa ran to the Supreme Court with Judge Kaba presiding in Chima and said he was taking the Elections Commission and the hearing officer on a writ of certiorari. Writ of certiorari is a writ prayed for by a party asking a higher court in a view to correct an error made by a judge of a lower court or a hearing administrative body. A writ of certiorari. So the writ of certiorari essentially says, Election Commission cannot hear the case because they finish hearing it before any render judgment and the time to take appeal finish passing. Election Commission lawyer represented by former Associate Justice Michael Wright appeared before the Supreme Court and said, Election Commission has not had a hearing in this matter. Every other thing we've been doing was administrative. Now we're going into full hearing before the hearing officer. So Election Commission has authority over this matter. For some strange reason, Kaba upheld the petition seeking for certiorari. So we took an appeal before the full bench, and I believe we made a very positive, constructive, and compelling argument before the Supreme Court, the full bench. And Justice Kaba, who had ruled as a sitting associate justice in the matter when it was before him in Chima, was made to recuse himself. So there are 4 justices, 3 justices include, in addition to the Chief Justice, sat on the argument from both sides. We believe we made a very compelling case, and we are waiting for the ruling. The ruling is expected anytime soon. I will look forward to the court sending us back to Elections Commission because Elections Commission has the authority over this matter. I will look forward to the court mandating the Elections Commission to receive Liberty Party corrected constitution against the one that was authored under which Musa and Edith Cummings are running around with, and this matter will soon be laid to rest. So when you see Carrasco there running around with Musa's name, at least everybody know the game. In the whole game of porn, I'm sorry for comments. I'm sorry for comments. That's the only person I'm sorry for.
Senator, I've got a beautiful suggestion. I've got a beautiful suggestion. Where is the FIFA headquarters? Geneva or Italy?
Zurich.
I think it's in Switzerland.
In Zurich, Switzerland.
I would like to recommend, Senator, that we post Musa Bility as ambassador to Switzerland.
But if the mega one will start getting, I will go with Switzerland.
I say send him there, let him be ambassador to get him out of the way because he's just a spoiler. He's just a spoiler and a good for us, the Liberian people. A good for us. You know, individual.
Don't worry, we'll correct that. We'll correct that mistake. Don't worry.
The Megan wife, the Megan will go on the football field.
I say just send him to Zurich. Let him go sit down with the FIFA people and get out of the Liberian politics.
So you know, at this point, Musa is not a factor when we're talking about the future of the country. The whole country is sitting and waiting for Joseph Boakai to determine the hope of the country, and that's where our focus is.
Yeah.
Let's take a few calls. And,
you know, one radio station, one online show today, we're having opinion poll for the people to see that Cummings running mate. It normally aired live on Musa's Truth FM. And two person calls it, but what are you looking for running mate for Cummings for? Let him take Musa Belede or Moriah Yakula. The host of the show started getting vexed. So when the people start giving him running mail like that, then you know that where they put you in the mind already. So I don't waste my time on certain things. I don't waste my time on certain things.
Hey, you're political leader already in your party. Musa Belede ain't saying that you political leader. Fantasy, you chairman for a party in a very decisive election. Then you run into be represented in the interior.
Yeah.
So how you expect your party to win?
You're looking for paycheck.
So Musa will use ANC and Musa may likely win. You may likely win a seat in Nima. I say likely. And then Cummings and ANC will sit back and say, had we known?
Yep. You'll be represented.
Most times, had we known is always after the fact.
Yep.
I think we can take calls so that we can keep the
radio station off calls so our people can think.
Just before you take the call, the senator is on.
I know.
There's somebody who been reaching out to me. It's a serious human interest story, and I think Senator Bidon there, you got to pay attention to these things. So they have sent some. They sent some Liberian students. Let me see. Let me be sure to get the proper information. Is it Turkey or where? The same Liberian students in this place from Legis sent them. And after staying on, I come and say, just bear with me because I want to give you the facts, so I want to make sure I get the person in me. I got their messages yet, so I don't say something different. Get the person been on me back to back. I have told them, besides saying on the show to talk about, hey, I ain't got no other power to do anything. Only the decision makers on the ground can help. Okay, they call this person. I think he want me to call his name because he's not hiding, because they've been abandoned. He feels so. Some Peter C. Dokbo. Let's just send them to. Let me see the country so I don't say the wrong thing.
Is it the Philippines?
I come in 1 minute, Senator. Let me be sure. It's a terrible case, as he explained to me, and somebody like you saying you in authority, the decision maker. So I just thought of bring it out, since you, so you could do something, bring it to the attention of our people. So
send the information, put the information in the class below that chat room. Let's pick it from there so I can get an honest on the radio.
There were a group of people that went. They needed to pass after 3-month probation. They needed to go through certain tests. And if you pass a test where you go through the actual program, all the other people that went with this guy, they all failed. As we speak, they are back in Liberia. But according to his story, all of them, their accounts were credited, though they didn't make it out of the program, they credited their accounts with money. Now he is there. They have not paid the school fees. They don't send him allowance. And he's the only person who succeeded and is now in the program. No school fees. And the whole thing is because politics. When they started abandoning it, according to him, they got pissed off that he tried to create the awareness about their plight. And they said, once he raised awareness and went to the press, he got to be on So Help Me God. So even though you send all your citizens, the probational period, all the other one failed. Only one man qualified. Because you have political issue with that one man. He's in the school, read down he's out of the dormitory because government had not met their obligation. is on a visa that is now on a threat. And nobody cares. Everybody have paid attention back to him. But you're right. I'm going to put a detail of everything you sent to me in the chat room.
Right.
Just read it and pick it up from there.
Sure, I will. Sure, I will. Yeah.
Yep, let's take a few calls, Chupo.
Chupo,
It's really,
say event.
yeah.
Chupo, say event eating. Oh.
Zero.
And now the numbers.
0887043660, 0887043660, 077047 2019, 077047 2019, plus 14016888266 are the numbers.
Hello.
You're having a program, please go ahead.
Go
ahead, Chief.
I want to know that the other issue is very common people very different on the people want to eat pure and I was probably the whole culture. I found out why I was involved. I was concerned now if I was in all of these to 35 people don't want to know the other family issue.
Okay, but I think the senator just addressed that, but thank you. Hello?
Hello?
You're having a program, please go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, thank you, Jopo. My name is Benjamin and I come from Kawa.
Go ahead, Ben.
Okay, Senator, how are you doing? My first time maybe to talk to you on this station. But my concern has to do with this issue of the elections process. The registration process. There are a lot of information going on that the ruling party or the government are doing everything possible to make sure there should be a massive fraud in the elections in their favor. And you guys are sitting and only making speeches and getting some statements. You guys who are joining the other people to go after this thing. Our future is in your hand. Although we ourselves have decisions to make, it doesn't fit that yet in the largest state or as opposition leader. You're not come together to do something about our future. Will hold them responsible.
Thank you,
so
Chief.
hold the line.
Thank you.
No, let him be there. Chupo, let him be there.
Okay.
Bossman, you on the line?
Yes, sir.
Chief, what you want to do? Suggest something, let me hear.
This is my suggestion. Since the people who use the process to cheat, you guys should come together. It is not late yet. We have read for wanted a ticket, just give us this ticket. Put everything aside. Let Kumi come and do something about it.
Okay, stay on the line. Stay on the line.
Okay, let's say hold on the line.
Hold on the line. Chief, can you force Cummins and Bwaka to come together?
I sure wonder.
Can we force them to come together?
No, we will not force them, but with the idea to get Mr. Senator, I know you to be somebody who, when you speak to somebody, even if the chief wrong this, they will have reason to think. Just talk to this guy, he has not late yet. You will not force them, but sure. You think we've been talking? But the first thing I wanted to help you with, don't put it in your head that if people won't cheat and they're able to cheat, and we start crying or low that we weak and whining. Go register to vote and keep your card. Go register to vote and keep your card. When you go to that voter registration center and they say they're not registering because you're opposition, but they're registering sedition, then you let us know. When we do nothing, then that means we're weak. But they get special line for sedition and special line for opposition. When the system down, you can see them registering sedition and saying opposition, the system down, so we're not registering you. So I beg us, we get our eye there, we get my point is, okay,
we have enough time.
I know.
Yeah, let me get on this road. They don't got like opposition. But when they get that the woman who behaving the way she behaving, sending message to the party channel come out.
And the circle, and we not make that the circle. When you get another instance of that, let them know we made that sack then.
Okay, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
So much. Let me get this person. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Live in the class below that. Please go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling us from tonight?
I'm thinking to
from Portland.
You have to put little strength in your voice. Go ahead.
I'm thinking Steve Standard calling from Portland Road.
Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, my question here is to Senator. I said my question is I get monitor on 2% and then
I'm in the memo.
Call
Go ahead,
us,
Chief.
please. Call us. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Otelo Toe. I'm calling from Minnesota. Yeah, I'm just calling to make an appeal. I've been watching the show. I know it's not easy. We all want the CDC government to be out of power. We have bad blood among the opposition, between the opposition. Things are not very easy. And we know that the surrogate of Mr. Braga and Mr. Comey have created most of the problem. But I just came from Liberia. I was in Liberia back to back. People come out and say, I'm just appealing. Senator Dillon, you have the courage, you have the audacity, you have the mind, and I know the person you are. We voted into power 12. I appeal it, whatever the situation is, for my own understanding, my own story for Liberia. I know Braga have the number, people just come and get the money, but to save Liberia under the danger Liberia is in, for the sake of Liberia and not for the sake of personal interest, for the sake of greed, I ask you, we cannot force these people. But I know, I have that belief, the lead of the Braga, the Comey, themselves, they will want to reconcile. But the surrogate on both sides, which they have been doing bad, they have been good to the people. But Mr. Taylor.
So, Bossman.
Okay.
What kind of,
you want to
no, I beg. Yeah, I beg you, I want engagement for 10 seconds. I want engagement for 10 seconds. So you want Bouaka and Cummings to come together, right? No, don't put that one in Baza. And you want Bouaka and Cummings to come together, eh?
You said yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Bouaka and Cummings will come together. Fix a ticket for us. Yeah, so fix that ticket there for us. Who top, who second? Yeah.
Anytime I face a ticket, I need Jalen support. The Musa Bedede and Jalen, whatever they have a good there, they solve the problem of just about the Liberia, but about Jalen, that was Musa Bedede.
No, leader one. No, leader one.
That's what you mean. When you say
leader one. Face a ticket between Bouaka and Cummings. Who must come? Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest. I'm a Cummings supporter, but I prefer Bouaka to go as a standard bearer.
And you Cummings supporter, United coming that one?
I'm a Cummings supporter, but I prefer Bouaka to go as a standard bearer.
Yeah, you say.
And you Cummings supporter, United in that one, and he agreed in the interest of the country?
Okay, I should answer the question?
Yeah, okay.
That to Cummings.
Okay. I have that said the Bouaka, I have that said the Cummings, but I think Taylor in a position to do it where I cannot reach your Bouaka, I cannot reach your Cummings. If I had the power and the mind to do it, that's it, I would have done it.
You think we'll not do it? You think we'll not do it?
In all level, the old man, the people that around us. And I said,
okay.
But I think the surrogate are the one creating the problem.
Okay, let's stop it there. We can't keep.
Okay, thank you, my brother. I'll take note of that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, at least we expect international call, you know.
But the person that was calling before, 1 minute, the person that was talking before you came in an international and local call, only international using that number.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. I'm Hassan Douglas calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota. All right, well, Senator, good afternoon to you.
God there, how you doing?
We're doing great. It's just like we always listening to you every time because we know that you are the eyes of the hopeless. So we always follow you. And one thing I wanted to say is like, I would like for us to a little bit forget about Musa Belete and Comey because there's something, whenever we talk about them, we are really making them feel proud of themselves because if you go to the market, if you spend 3 hours, you will get to know whether they will buy your market or not. Or people that you know that they cannot buy their market, just leave them alone because they are not marketable. And Musa Belete business will come to an end one day because nothing lasts forever. and we'll always support you, Honorable, what you're doing back home. We appreciate every single thing you do for Liberian people, and you get our support. I just from Liberia, I went and registered, and I just came, the 26th. So we have your support. So thank you very much for the time, and God will always be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Japan.
Go ahead, caller. You're having a program. Please go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, I'm Jay Helen Gogo, calling for Lagos, member of the JNB task force.
All right.
Yeah, let me appreciate the senator video there.
Please go ahead, caller. What's the name we're calling us from tonight?
Okay, hello. I'm Moses Smith. I'm calling from Banga.
It's good having you from Banga City. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay, really, what I want to tell the class is this. What up, Cummins or Musa, they are not to be even discussed. GNB is the heartbeat of the people. The only thing we have to touch on is let's continue to encourage our people, because the hardship is too much in the country for people to leave that $1, $2 business and go for registration. It may cause some problem. But you just want to encourage it. And as I was telling you the other time, everybody is listening to radio. We are following it up all over the country. That's my contribution. Let's continue to talk to the people. Let us take the cat. That's all.
Thank you so very kindly, Chief. We have another person on the line. Go ahead, caller. What's the name?
We have found a good time to honor the freedom. Thank you very much, Steve, for Jeremiah. Yeah, thank you very much for the show this evening. My brother, I just called from America, who is supposed to, I think, the senator of Mozambique County, the old man, Imabuakai. They are just trying their best for Kumi and Tabe to go together, but Kumi actually, we don't know the problem. So, however, the only thing we have to tell one another is how to go and register 2023 October 10th, make a decision to see how that the party GNB to make our president of Liberia, because what is happening in our country, Liberia, is not easy. We are on a serious stress that we can't tell the source of price being a country as leader with source of right attitude. So the only thing we can do is forget about COVID. Then go by the road, then get the party go by the road. We have money, we have support of, we have things.
Thank you.
Then we order. So thank you very much for the show.
Thank you, Chief. Go ahead, Chief. Yeah.
Come on, Langway.
Yeah, good evening. Class reloaded. Good evening to my senator, Senator Charles Dillon. Good evening to former minister.
Okay.
I mean, let me just say, the reason why Jeremiah Koji spoke the way he spoke is because government of this day have become, a government that want to force people to become maybe one party state. Because the constitution clearly says that to obtain job, it should be based on merit, it shouldn't be based on religious affiliation or political party affiliation. So if Jeremiah Koji is saying that they will take that job and they will not give job to opposition, it's also similar to those ministers and directors that Madam Saleh left in government. Because it has been a conflict of conflict between the CDC and the NPP, LPP, that they don't have job and that the excuse people were giving. That the excuse the CDC is giving to NPP. So these excuses are not granted. We think there's no guarantee that even if they are re-elected, there will be a guarantee for even NPP to get a job. So as an NPP person speaking within this line, I'm not going to vote CDC any longer. I will be in the opposition and I will vote opposition. Thank you.
You are an NPP man?
I'm an NPP man.
You voted for them in 2017?
2017, I voted Apia, and we have not received a single 1 million job that was promised. We are yet to see a single job, and I mean the private sector is completely dormant. This is a government that is now investor friendly. We don't even see the guarantee that we'll have a job. So I mean, we cannot have a youthful population. I mean, jobless, and then we have a youthful president that is not friendly internationally. There's no investment coming. I mean, we just lottery around with mega food. In fact, our mega food these days, the government has placed no tax on it. I mean, the profit that used to be that reduced totally. I mean, everything is just leaving our hands. So we don't have the guarantee that they will even give us a job. I know with the looting that even some of them carry on currently, that we don't even see them prosecuting those who are being accused by U.S. State Department and what have you. I mean, it will just be on a looting spree that they will be looting our economy, and we are preparing that to retire there very soon. Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thank you. Before go ahead.
Go ahead, caller. Hello.
Good evening.
Live in the program, please go ahead, Chief.
My name is Michael Jefferson. I call from the community.
Go ahead.
Good evening to everyone. Well, I just wanted to strike something. I want to use this time to encourage people to go and register. All of what we are discussing can only be actualized if you have your voter registration card. We still have a little time. Those that are in the States who are capacitated to make their way to Liberia, we are here. We are calling on you to register, to come down and register. If you cannot, add your voice to the many voices, encourage your family members and friends to go and register. This is the time that we all need a voter registration card to be able to effect change in our country as we move towards October. I just wanted to encourage Liberians to register.
Thank you, Chief. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Michael, for your call.
Call on the line, go ahead.
Hello.
Live in the program, please go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, hello. Let me say good evening to the team, and let me say special greetings to our legislative scholar in Senator Ibrahim Darren.
You working 1 minute, boss man?
My name is Nicholas and I was on the from the borough of Fulton. So I follow the conversation with key interest, knowing fully well that we must remove Mr. Weah from the presidency come October 10th. And so we are making key here in the forum. What I just want to recommend to the team and even to Senator Dillon is that Senator Dillon, I know you since the elections, you have visited some communities, some districts, but you have not come to District 16. And most time, our people here will say, "Oh, yeah, our Senator, when is he coming to?" So I think the presence in District 16 will make some great feedback.
Thank you.
To add to the work that we are doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you, Theo.
Caller, go ahead.
Hello?
You live on the Class Reloaded. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. My name is Ibrahim Don DP. We joined the discussion on Kansas City in my country. Thank you for the discussion tonight. The issue of Mr. Cummings is clear. We are here in Nima, we know the heritage of the folk group, folk parties and town. And Dr. Elizabeth coming to go and dance running the honor in a butter blocker. For Mr. Cummings has refused, you can't go at anybody in a government. So it's clear, we know it. But what we are saying tonight, let the ambassador make it fast and clear. We are here, we are talking to people who are clear today to get registered, come in the town, in the Nima, get the town. So it's very restricted, can begin Nima. And people are getting hard to get registered. We know that President will have faith in country acceptably. What corruption is mysterious death, and they're affecting our people here. So we know all these things. So this is the law. I've not seen you for 44 minutes. They say on the Facebook, a session.
Thank you.
What is there for the Liberia people? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Me take DJ Lome. DJ Lome, go ahead, Chief.
Thank you very much. Let me say good evening to the Arab leader in honor of Honorable Gareth Delon. We are not surprised that you scored a grade A, and we are very proud of you because we know you can make it. But Senator Delon, my attention has been drawn to this thing that we went today to make that assessment, and it is true that NEC has decided the people in Ghana, the other places, more especially financial Europe, that they will be registering only 100 questions. Yesterday, my son and my brother went to register over there, and they said only 50 cards. After the 50 cards, they were not able to register anybody, and people are pulling. So this is to show to the people of NEC that they are not serious. People are saying, "Oh, you go register." Yes, they are moving, but then when they saying that only 100 questions, we said the day is troubling. So we wanted to please intervene in that. Only 100 questions that will register every day to each center is a problem, and we are getting constrained for it. We are went there today to verify and was true. The people said it there that only 100 questions will be registering on a daily basis, and the time is short, and then they're saying that they're not getting additional day. So they don't please speak on the issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DJ Lome. So, Chief, yeah, please go ahead.
Call on the language.
Yeah, my name is Chris, calling from the Midwest here. I just wanted to commend the senator for the hard work he does on a daily basis for the Liberian people. Just so you know that we commend you for your hard work and continue to do that. My only concern that I have to raise on this show tonight has to do with voter registrations. And I see that opposition's blocs are complaining a lot, saying that CDC is doing this, CDC is doing this. Now, my daily observation is if you continue to complain that CDC is doing this and you are not doing anything to do the same thing, because at the end, the numbers is the one that will elect the new president. So if you're saying that CDC is bringing out teenagers to register, you should do the same thing. If you sit down and you put your hand between your legs, at the end, the number will count, okay? We do not have any reliable database in Liberia to authenticate whether this person is 18 and above. We just go by their height and their law. So I encourage the opposition bloc to do the same thing. Go to your community, go to your church, go to your house, go to your high school, recruit as many people as you can, so that if everybody's chakari, then we all can resolve it at the end. But if you sit down and just complain and they get a number, I think it will be too late.
Thank you. Call on the language.
Hello.
Go ahead.
This is Siaka Noah, and I call from California. Member of the United Party, the National Youth Branch, and the USA Canada. I just called to tell you guys thank you for the work done so far, and I really appreciate Steamy, UPI, and the rest, and Intimata, everybody for the work you guys are doing. And I just want to let you know that the leadership of the Youth Congress, we're here, we are supporting everything you guys doing, and we'll continue to work with the leadership back home to ensure that just like Mopapa is elected, come to the 33. And I want to say thank you for the good work. Thank you.
Take your last badge, and then take one more or two, then we'll close.
Cabinet Fofana, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks for the recognition for the sake of the listening public. Once more again, I am Cabinet Fofana, a member of CYM, and like I always say, my goal is to make George Weah a one agenda. Before going to the issue tonight, as you guys know that for the past few days I've been being called it, is because, Thursday or protest started, the election protest started, and one of those many persons who are serving as co-workers for the party, they are working hard, come to the 23 in order for the party to be victorious. So while in the process, through the up and down, because I'm playing on two roles, I'm serving as co-worker, and
and at the same time going from place to
People get internet wahala.
Don't forget it's Miami.
Yeah, he way inside Miami. You got way in
Banga.
Get internet wahala.
I'll take 2 more calls so we can go.
Yeah, because it's 3 hours, 30 minutes.
I really
Well, no one is calling, so then if that's the case, then we can end
Okay,
it.
we close.
Yep.
Let's
it's
close.
About that time. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about that time. Let me say thanks to all of our callers who participated. So let's go around the room for your your closing. Antimiata, we'll start with you. PR, and then Senator will take us on.
It's been great. You know, that we can come and discuss our issues. Senator, it's always nice to see you. And I'm sure you realize from the callers and people that you do bring in added legitimacy to the Class Reloaded, since you are definitely there in the legislature and representing your people. So I have to tell you, thank you as always. And the last caller says we're complaining. Senator Dillon has said we don't complain. I'm saying if a particular polling station has told you all that they're only registering 100 for the day, then make sure you're in 100. Make sure you're in 100. Wake up. Wake up and go. Be the first in the line. When individuals walk in, you cannot tell whether the sedition or opposition. We cannot be that paranoid. At least I am not. And I don't want to give the ruling party any kind of information. But my experience in Monrovia, and especially during the voting process, I registered on Ashland Street, but I went to Pipeline, I went to Jacobtown to see other places and how things were going. And I don't know, maybe my ears hearing different things, but the young people that stood in those lines were having discussions, and it really gave me hope. It gave me hope because some of them might look like Zogos, unemployed youth, etc., but their conversations in those registration lines were an education to me. I don't, like I say, want to give the ruling party any help, but they got to work hard. They have to work hard because the people are they jumping the train for JNB. They're jumping the train for JNB. And from all of the indications of the poll so far, most of the people want to see the standard bearer and Yombri Kanga. I know it's not my business, but I will say it. Someone like me, I would be a little disappointed. I'll be big time because, hey, I'd like to see a woman on the ticket, continuing our walk to democracy. However, if my standard bearer decides that, yes, the individual that he chooses has integrity, stands for justice, is not a criminal, I will go along. I will go along with that person. But if his running mate turns out to be somebody who has a closet of dirty clothes, I'm sorry, I will have to be on their case. If I can be on Musa Belete case, if I can be on Musa Belete case and other people, why would I be on that person case? Say, standard bearer, are you aware this person, people are doing this and this and this and this, etc. And it will not be too late to change, trust me. We want the best for Liberia. We want the very best that we can carry in 2023. This is our dying hour. This is our dying hour, my people. So let our people go and register. You go out there and register. Talk to the people in the other half. Thank you and good night. And see you next week, Monday. Inshallah.
Thank you, Auntie Miada. Thank you. Chupo, you're closing.
Yeah, so just want to tell everyone thanks. We had tons of call tonight, and thanks to all of our many regular followers via radio and social media as well. So thank you, and God bless all of us. Good night from my end.
Thank you, Chupo.
Chupo, you using reading glasses now?
The man say everybody get glasses on. So
I love my boy. He's growing. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, your final thoughts.
Yes, I listened to Auntie Miata, but I think at the same time, when people who are experiencing this stuff at the polling places raise some issues, we got to give it some attention and see how we make it work better. I believe that when the NEC officials or their team assemble themselves in the morning to the registration place, if the goal is to work from 6 a.m. to 6 in the evening, and 6 in the evening means the last person who will be on the line at 6 will be the cutoff point, I believe that's why it should be. But when you go to a polling place and you purpose that today we are registering 100% and only 100%, it shows that there's some problem or there are some problems. Maybe, like I heard Auntie Miata talking about car finishing and all that kind of stuff, maybe you go to that polling station with only 100 cars. Then my question is, what if you start at 6 o'clock and by 4 o'clock, the 100 cars are being used? You end registration that day in a situation where you're encouraging more people to register because that's their power. When you end registration because you have a team, 100. So if you have that turn line that you open it, like you do on election day, you open the poll in the morning, you say, poll will close at 6. By 6 o'clock, the last person at the line, you call it up. In the end, when that person finishes, that polling station closed. How many people voted then is why it is. That's why the time was able to accommodate. Nobody will accuse you for anything. But you cannot go to a polling place and say we're only registering 100% here today or registering 50%. It doesn't make sense. So I think we should pay attention to it when those kinds of issues are raised by DJ Lomé and all. And then the final thing I wanted to say is we all saw this Gloria Scott situation, the daughter killed. We've seen all the drama that took place. And then I was seeing the papers that family making some requests, government refusing to give the coroner report and all these kinds of stuff. If somebody died from me and you say you want to do autopsy or whatever, blah, 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 if you have the fundings, I should be privileged to it. Second, we don't expect this stuff to be an unending stuff where you're keeping somebody's corpse for this long. When a young girl like that is being murdered and you have had a chance to do what you're supposed to do, you're so incompetent, you're so inefficient, that everything has been so messy. We can't keep it messy and keep the little girls remain laid down in some mortuary for eternity. We all know you ain't got no damn capacity to do anything. Investigation was just purely just a waste of our time. You reach to a point where you're almost wrapping the thing around the woman who is supposed to be victim. And in the end, we're still dragging onto a family crying. You can't give them access to that. We know you're not bringing about justice. Let's see the report. You pushed for that. You wanted this thing. You've done it. What's the report? Not just that family. The public deserves to know. End this thing. Let know what has happened and allow the people to bury their daughter in peace and stop all this nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you, Pia. Senator, take us home.
General Pia, Megan Fire. Thank you, Stephen and Pia Tupo. Thank you, Ente Miata, for your sacrifice to be on this show. Somebody raised a concern about that. Why is it that the embassy, I believe in America, Liberia embassy in America, is charging visa fee for, I think, Liberians holding dual citizenship to come home to Liberia? We passed the dual citizenship law, and that law is only for Liberians to remain Liberians and also benefit from other citizenship that they may take out of their own volition or imposed upon them by being born on the soil of another country where the law allows. And the fact that the law allows you now to be a dual citizen, that means you have entitlement to Liberian passport.
Exactly.
If you are traveling to Liberia on Liberian passport, you do not need visa to come to Liberia. If you are, for instance, a Liberian and an American holding both passports, if you want to come to Liberia using your American passport, then you will need visa, because it means you want to enter Liberia as an American. Even though you are a Liberian, you will come to Liberia without visa, coming home without visa, only on Liberian traveling document. What is laissez-passer, or if you don't have passport, or if you have Liberian valid passport, you come to Liberia without visa. If you come into Liberia with any other country's visa, passport, even though you are a Liberian, then you need visa. That is why they're charging you visa fee if you are in that category. With a Liberian passport, you don't need visa to come to Liberia. With a foreign passport, even if you are a Liberian, you would need visa in that passport. Liberian issued visa in our passport to come to Liberia. I hope this is as simple as light of day. Again, I want to say thank you. I want to encourage our people to go register to vote. Pia raised some very cogent issues that we should not downplay, that our people who are making these concerns or raising these concerns, we will continue to follow up. But I'm not going to encourage people to be complacent. I am not one of the leaders who will buy into the system down and it's affecting only opposition. The system should not be down. But when the system is down and they are not registering anybody at all, then it's not only affecting opposition. It's not designed in a way to affect only opposition. If you are in a queue and you wish to get registered and they say, oh, you opposition, so we get registered you, that is a valid case. If a NEC official assigned at the voter registration centers will misbehave like the lady in district number 10, raise the alarm, bring it to our attention, and action will be taken like the lady in district 10, that election voter registration officer has been dismissed, not only from that center, but from the entire electoral process. That's action taken when we have the information and the information is credible and it makes sense. So DJ Lomer and all of our people who have these concerns will hear you, will continue to make follow-up, and those ones that are credible that we can intervene for correction, will do so. I will also follow up on the video posted sent to us by Pia in our chat room to investigate as to why if it is true that they're purchasing voter registration card from Liberians, who's doing it and for what, so we can elevate the alarm for appropriate action. I want to say thank you, God willing. We'll be here on Wednesday. The class will be loaded. The political leader of our party, Senator Nnamdi Kanga Lawrence, has just concluded a congressional visit at the U.S. Capitol. She's in Pennsylvania right now. She should be heading back to Liberia very soon. She had meetings in the state of Maryland with some very top business people. And she met with the Secretary of State of the state of Maryland, and they had some very fruitful and rewarding meetings. We want to commend her, and we pray for her safe return home to Liberia, because a lot here for us to do to put this country to where it should be. And then Miata made reference to the running mate issue, that everybody want to know who Bouaga running mate is, says a lot about everybody's belief, nearly everybody's belief in Joseph Bouaga's grace to rescue this country. And as a stakeholder at my level in this matter, we look forward to Ambassador Bouaga taking his decision sooner than later. And we look forward to that decision being in conformity with his philosophy that says we should think Liberia, love Liberia, so as to build Liberia. We started this fight. We have done a lot of sacrifice at the Senate to keep the country hopeful in the midst of despair, in the midst of hopelessness. Like the Bible, when God was angry to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he put Lot to test, or Abraham. He said, if you can show me 50 men, righteous men in our town, I will save it. They looked, they could not find 50. And God kept on reducing it until I think they couldn't find anybody besides Lot. Lot, Abraham's nephew. And the only prayer that Lot had was for them to leave the town before it got destroyed. You know the Bible story where Lot's wife looked back and she turned to the pillar of salt. So God can also help intervene to rescue the country when there are few persons standing up. And when few persons standing up, it can keep the country a little hopeful that things can change. And that's what we've been doing from our human best, falling down, getting up over the period to keep this country hopeful. And we look forward to that decision of Ambassador Bouaga to elevate the hope of our people. I may say this not to the liking of some people, but we all wanted Bouaga Cummings ticket. We all rooted for Bouaga Cummings ticket. It was what the country naturally desired, craved for. It should have only taken common sense approach in the best interest of the country for us to understand that that was the ticket that the people wanted. When Mr. Cummings, including Joseph Bouaga, decided that they would exercise their right to want to head the ticket or to contest on their own, they are left with no alternative but to choose running mates. And when the country was craving for, desiring, and rallying around a Bouaga Cummings ticket, we from Liberty Party, led by our political leader, showed no craving to contest for president or vice president. We're very supportive of the desire of the country until especially Mr. Cummings insisted that we will go to primary, the Liberian people will decide, will compel them to decide. And the CPP free word document that got tampered with, when we put that document together, we said that we derived the CPP ticket from one of three means. One of three means, not necessarily by all three means. The first means by which we decided that we derive the CPP ticket, we decided that it would be derived by consensus. Means we all generally agree. We all say, and consensus is not expected to be derived or made by people who get common sense, people who got ego, people who want it must be about them. Consensus is derived by people with good intelligence, people who got common sense, people who can see the bigger picture, people who can reduce their ego and their personal ambition for the common good of everybody. And everybody said they wanted Boyka Cummings ticket. Do we fault FAULT? Do we fault Mr. Cummings for insisting that he wants to exercise his right to contest? No, I don't think so. When you gave us reason to have to choose, then you create the room for people to choose sides and to decide. And it was under that condition that if we had to go to primary by all costs, it was under that condition that I said that as I was leaning toward Boyka, especially when Cummings was using Musa's ability to wreck our party. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
It's always all about Liberia. And that's our focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Let me say thanks to PI and Miata and Jerry who were with us earlier. A big thanks to you, Senator Delon, for joining us, and to Paul, to our many callers, all those in the comment section, to our radio station, Bourgeois Radio FM 98.1, Premium FM 98.1 in Bangabon County, Radio Tupa FM 89.1 in Basel, Voice of Lofa 99.3 there in Bonjima, Radio Joy Africa 97.5 in Magibi, and Voice of Compa 106.5 all the way there. This has been the Monday edition of the program, The Clash Reloaded. I've been your host, Stephen Johnson. Looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday for another edition of the program. On that note, we'd like to say good night. God bless you, and you all have a wonderful, 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 wonderful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday to Jerry Nyimpa there in South Africa, a member of our panel.
Yep.
Jerry Nyimpa, happy birthday.
Jerry,
we love you and God bless you. Remember everything on his side or yeah, on his side.
All right, guys, bye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
It's all in the game.